The Chicago Bears finally finished up OTAs and let the players go for summer break. Kevin Warren is still politicking to get that Lakefront Stadium built. This is Three the Hard Way. A lot of Chicago Bears news. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I got my boy Devin in the building, my guy Chef West at the bottom. We gonna get it. We gonna break it down all Chicago Bears news from the past 2 weeks, and we didn't see y'all last week. All that and a lot more right after this.
You seem to focus on what they didn't have. I
No.
focused on what they. No, you said 4 was not enough.
It
So
was
you
not
focused
enough.
on what they did not have.
Okay, let's stop with the antics and let's talk about football now. Okay.
And then on top of that, I'm gonna tell y'all who we gonna take and why we gonna.
Okay. All right.
We're taking the wide receiver, fellas. Let me tell you about Mr. Rome Adumze.
Hey Devin, your laugh get me every time. That shit take me out. But hey, let's jump right into it, man. The Chicago Bears finished up what I guess is the last portion of their OTAs, but it was rookies only. I heard it was only about 13 to 15 guys out there, but it was gonna be quarterback centric, like basically just another QB school. And it sounded like they not every opportunity they can get to get Caleb Williams in a classroom, get him on the field, get him talking to any coach, whatever they can do to get this dude on the right track for training camp and preseason. It seemed like they doing that. But this past week, not this past week, the week before that because we missed a week, we weren't here last week, and I heard a lot of good things about what's going on in training camp. One of them being DJ Moore. Look, and then we talked about this in the chat, in our group chat. DJ Moore looked like he got my vote to be the Bears leading receiver this year. What y'all thinking? Just because it seemed like whatever quarterback he played with, he is a quarterback's best friend. I know they like to say tight ends are, but he helped Justin Fields out big time. He helped Sam Darnold out big time, and whoever else the fuck was in Carolina. He got my vote to be the Bears leading receiver. If y'all had to pick one right now, who would y'all pick?
DJ Moore. DJ Moore, I got to agree. I mean, if you look at DJ, like his personality, the way he plays, he remind me of that old school Randy Moss idea. Just throw the ball towards me, man. Like I'm not gonna complain about the ball was too low, too high, not on point, nothing. I mean, look at what he, like you said, look what he did with Justin Fields. Some of those catches he had to just stop and just, snag that ball, and snatch it, and then just go with what he had after that. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I think that's what we knew we was getting out of DJ when we came over, and that was my big deal last year when everybody was like, "Oh, he only looking at DJ Moore." I'm like, he's your best option. Like, even in a bailout situation, it's like if I can get it to DJ Moore, I mean, look how many people was dropping those good passes. If we talk about all the bad passes, look at those good passes. You like, come on, you can't. Everybody was looking like, come on, he did something right, and then you fucked up your end of the game. So, like I said, it's good to have him there. Hopefully that sparks someone to Keenan Allen, and I know he got his own little ego, and that like I said, my man's Rome learn from it and kind of take on those same attributes. That's it.
So Keenan, was it something about, was Keenan, what's this thing I've been hearing about Keenan, like the ball was underthrown or overthrown and something happened with that? Like Keenan said something?
Yeah, it was, I don't think he said no, I think his reaction was kind of off. Like he had one of those, didn't go for the ball moments. You know how, like it's right there. Like every ball is not perfect. You got to kind of like get down and get to the ball or whatever. And I think just his reaction. I don't think he actually said anything or quoted anything like that. But I think they were just going off like his body language. Like, oh, that was a little bit too high. I wasn't expecting it to be too high, or it was a little too low. And he was just like, I guess he was clenching his body. I didn't really see anything or read anything, but from what the people were saying, it seemed like his reaction was kind of almost cancerous,
And I only mentioned that because I saw some shit on Twitter, and then I was listening to a podcast to figure out which one it was, and they brought it up. And then Devin, actually, you mentioned something along those lines in a group chat. So I'm like, okay, this is actually a thing. People actually trying to make, you know what I mean? Trying to make it seem like Keenan Allen is feeling some type of way already, and they ain't even put on pads yet.
Yeah, there was the one that, like, it was a high arcing ball that it didn't need to be very high arcing. And so Keenan Allen had to stop and wait for it. And people keep posting that clip, but then I saw in one of the comment sections on it that, like, it was half speed drills anyways, and Keenan just went full speed to where he was supposed to be. And so that's one of the reasons he had to wait. But people are definitely trying to, like, really change things up, like cause drama and cause shit. And it's like, I'm getting a little like, if he didn't want to be here, he wouldn't be here. Like,
right?
He probably had a bit of a say in where he got traded to, and just because they're mandatory OTAs doesn't necessarily mean it's mandatory to show up. There are a few people, I think at least one that we didn't have show up. So
for mandatory OTAs.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard that Nate Davis didn't show up.
So Nate Davis has been there. He just hasn't been fucking doing anything. He just been on the sidelines. I think from what I've heard, everybody has been there. It's just everybody hasn't been participating in what we know. Karan Amagaji, he definitely ain't been he hasn't done anything all training camp. I mean, all OTAs. They want to get him going come training camp. My question for y'all is, do y'all think he'll actually be ready come training camp week day one?
I think he's ready. I think they just don't want I think they just he's a
cautious
rookie. Yeah, they cautious. They not really truly relying on him. And the last thing you want is like you spoke weeks and weeks and weeks like about that depth, and it's like, why kill your depth early on when you can take your time with him? It's not like we drafted him to start, but if we can get him as healthy as possible, and I think he's going to be actually participating once they put those pads on and all that kind of stuff. So they could just, because they're going to have to gauge it a little bit and see, it's kind of like, like the Celtics and Porzingis right now, like he got that little injury, like we'll use him as needed.
Yep.
And if it's looking bad, then yeah, we'll reach out and pick what we can.
Which is weird. I don't mean to get off topic. What's up with his knee? Is it his knee? It's his foot. That's a big ass dude.
I don't know, man. I heard like hammy, knee, foot.
It's something that is lingering though.
Yeah.
I had a clip of Rome Odunze speaking on his hamstring injury, and I thought it was interesting because he was like, they basically asked him about like, how do you think this happened or whatever. He basically said, I wasn't ready for the NFL reps that I was getting. You know what I mean? He said I wasn't completely prepared based on like going through finishing the season, because Rome played in the national championship, didn't he? He played, right? Washington went to the national championship, didn't they?
I don't know if they went to the national. I know they went deep in the playoffs. I don't know if they was in the national championship.
I thought because who won it? Who won the national championship?
Michigan.
Was it Michigan? Okay, I might be wrong then. But yeah, so he was basically saying with the combine, the fucking draft, and all that rookie shit that was going on, he wasn't really prepared to come in and take as much practice reps. He also spoke on the importance of getting this summer break that the Bears just let the players off on. And this is what he had to say about the importance of players getting that summer break before training camp.
Well, if your training camp started tomorrow, would you be good with that, or do you need a break? Hell no, I wouldn't be good with that. Nah, I wouldn't be good with that because, not necessarily that I think I need a break, but I'm not where I want to be at, on a physicality standpoint, on a conditioning standpoint, on who I am as a player standpoint. If training camp was tomorrow and you're like mentally wise, I'll be ready to go, man. Shit. I mean, it's my first year in the NFL, dog. I'm all for it, but I need this month to go get right and make sure, this transition into the league is going to be, swift and smooth as it can be.
I'm curious about it. As exciting as this whole process has been for you, is the excitement level increased now that you've seen your teammates' potential, everything, now that you've gotten into it? I'm curious what.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's it's kind of standing too close to the elephant when you first get here. It's just like, that big old NFL sign in your face, and now you step back, you're like, oh, I'm really in the NFL. Yeah, these guys are professional athletes, but we still playing ball. We still going out there and doing what we've been loving to do since, we was, this tall. So definitely it's been, a building of excitement for sure. And, I know, the butterflies and all that are going to continue to roll in when it's first game, first day of training camp, first, one-on-one period. It all comes with the journey. So absolutely.
Before I comment on that, look like we got a Lions fan. The first Lions fan in the chat. He said Michigan won and Will Johnson put Rome on ice in the national championship. Detroit versus everybody. Yeah, that's why y'all was booing Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze so hard once we drafted them first and 9. But look, Detroit, I ain't gonna lie, and we're not gonna touch on Detroit for too long, but they got a fucking team. They got a team. I was at work talking about just going over the NFC North rosters, and I forgot a bunch of the free agent signings they had, like DJ Reader at the D tackle spot. I forgot they got him, but appreciate you jumping in the chat, Don Burr. Fuck the Lions.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I am proud of the NFC North for showing like as a strong division, because a lot of these division winners, they someone won the one division winner last season that was under 500 or at 500 or something weird like that. It's like, do you want to be in one of? I mean, I guess maybe you might want to be in the division that week, but I like the fact that our division is strong. I mean, we want
like that.
Yeah, I mean, we want our players at their best and playing against the best. You can't, it's just good for us, honestly.
You play against. It's kind of like what I hope happens with Caleb. You play against the best. It makes you better. Iron sharpens iron, and we play pretty well against the Lions though. So I'm hoping that continues. Rome Odunze's comments on the importance of players getting this summer break. Y'all heard him say, "Hell nah." If training camp started tomorrow, shit, I'm not gonna be excited for it. I really won't be ready physically, but he said mentally he would be ready for it. Like if he had to do it, yeah, of course. But nah, he said he need that break in between before they come back. What is it? 4 weeks, 5 weeks before they come back and put the pads on. What y'all think about Rome Odunze's comments on this break? Just this break, because I know they all talk about, because they're gonna meet up. You know what I mean? Caleb talked about meeting up. I think Keenan talked about linking up during this summer break. A couple players talked about it, and Caleb even said some defensive players gonna be out there. So, I mean, what y'all fellas think about this break in general? Forget about Rome Odunze's comments, just this break for the players before they come back for training camp.
I know it's kind of lag. Oh no, I can go first. I know it's kind of. I didn't know if it was a lag for you down or not, but I think it's a good idea. Honestly, I think the proposal for this new off-season schedule is a better idea.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is giving them that break, like he's just saying, like we just said, and Don just brought up. Rome was in a national championship game, and then he had to go through all the pre-draft stuff, combine. Then when he was done, rookie mini camps and rookie mini camps and all those kind of things, and and like you said, all the veterans was gone this week, but the rookies were still there, so he was still there for that, and being a top 10 pick. I'm pretty sure he had doing podcasts and interviews, and everybody asked him how he feels, and the fact that he came in with Caleb, and I mean, I don't, he probably didn't have no downtime. He had no time to get into some type of routine or any structure. So he was just like he was saying, like, if I have to do it, it's my job. Yeah, I would do it. But if I had to, and that's one thing. Rome is my dude. And that's what I like about Rome. He just opened up about it. Like, he spoke on the Hard Knocks thing. How he spoke up on this. Like, we know anytime he hits the podium or he gives his word or says something, that we're going to get Rome's actual personal point of view and not some scripted idea that or some mouth service. So I give him a 100% big clap, big pat on the back, however you want to celebrate it. But I'm with it. I believe they do need a break.
Devin, you want to touch on the importance of this 5-week break for these players?
Yeah, I think it's. I would say it's probably more important for like the rookie players because they're coming in. I mean, like, most of them were still in school technically until like May or something like that, maybe April, and so like they were still. I don't know how much of them were actually like finishing classes and stuff like that. Who knows? Right. But at the same time, like, that was still something that was there for them that they were focusing on, maybe, and just like all the extra stuff that there's a lot more. I mean, honestly, like, the players like Keenan Allen, he's an older player. He probably needs to kind of get himself right. He's got responsibilities, family, kids, and they're all home in California. So dealing with that, knowing that next year you'll probably spend about half the year in Chicago, your family out in California, and like figuring out all the logistics of that, and for any of the other new players for the team and stuff like that. A lot of them trying to kind of like mesh well with each other while at the same time. Like, I think this break allows them a lot of possibility for like growth with each other, like outside of the football field. Like, yeah, you can like be a good player on the field, but like sometimes being a good player on the field, it's you aren't going to make the team a lot better unless you for you, like when we see them going to like the Chicago Sky games or going to Cubs or Sox games or something like that, getting pick up on the type of people they are, and you really get to know your teammates well enough to be like, okay, this is the type of thing that he would do, because that's where he's going to be,
So,
and this break, I feel like, gives them that opportunity to connect and really be able to do stuff like that without worrying too much about like, okay, we can't stay out too late because we got practice tomorrow, stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's how I feel about it.
So I do think so. I was originally like, yeah, take this summer break to relax and get y'all bodies right and heal and whatever y'all need to do. I know some of them talked about, like Rome talked about, he got his personal masseuse back in Vegas or whatever, this and that. And he said he's going to be working with his mom and his dad out on the field in 115-degree weather, so she better get ready. Shit like that. But some other things came up with this team and the OTAs, and it kind of came up with Matt Eberflus. They asked Matt Eberflus. I think they asked Shane Waldron, Eberflus, and Caleb Williams all the same question. And we kind of spoke about it on a previous episode, and it was basically, when do you think this offense will be ready? Or is it going to be much of like the normal, oh, we're new, it's a rookie quarterback, it's going to take some time? They asked Caleb Williams on that, and this is what he had to say about the potential of the Bears offense.
Caleb, even in this rudimentary stage of offensive development, have you seen any signs that this offense will be anything more than a work in progress once the bell rings in September? And is there, do you see signs of getting traction early as opposed to just, well, we're still working,
Yeah. Whether it's game 1, game 18, game 21, whatever the case may be, there's always a work in progress. That's the reason why, you may win, play really well one week, and then the next week you don't play as well. So it's always a work in progress. And the progress, always shows in the work that you had before the season, but also throughout the season. So, there'll definitely be, times where, we feel there's traction. Like right now, we feel great. And that's really all I can speak on, at this point, because I haven't gotten to, week 1 of preseason or week 1, versus Titans and things like that. So, right now, we feel the traction we're enjoying. We also know that right now we're building and bonding and, believing in each other and figuring out what's right, what's wrong. So that when we get to the point of preseason 1 or regular season 1, that, we're ready to go, to our best of our ability.
The Bears media is geeked. They anxious to know when this offense gonna be ready, and rightfully so, because they don't want to hear it's a work in progress. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear we got new pieces. It's gonna take some time to gel. They want to hear, and I kind of know what they want to hear. They want to hear conviction out of either the coach or the quarterback. Like, yeah, this thing gonna be going by week 1. They want to hear something like that. So if it's not ready by week 1, they got a talking point. They got something to pounce on them about when that post game press conference come about. What's up, Wes?
I just think it's like everybody got their idea. Like we did our predictions of each player, stat predictions, what the team will look like, possibly what the offense should be scoring, and all this other kind of stuff. And I think that's what a lot of people is wanting to say. Like, yeah, we're projecting to be like a 24 plus points, with at least these many. Like, I think that's the question everybody wants to know. Like, what offense are we getting? And for me, it's like, it gotta just be better than what we had before. You know what I mean? The floor of this offense definitely has to be better than what we've seen in the last 5 years. Like it has to be. I mean, I can't see it not being, unless, and that's the thing. It's like, and I think with Shane Waldron is the biggest question mark is how is he going to bring the most out of this offense? Like, on his worst day, on his most out-coached day, how bad is we really going to look out? Because, I mean, we won games looking bad offensively a lot in Bears history, trust me. So are we going to get that kind of, like floor, like our best games from back then that we nearly etched out because of defense, because of a big play, because of a punt block, or, Robbie Gould kicked that, 55-yard field goal when we didn't think he could do it,
Right.
Stuff like that. Like, are we going to be able to be that, to be honest, are we going to be able to be that team that pretty much, overall worked our way to the Super Bowl with a great special teams, with a great defense and a decent offense? Even with Rex Grossman, the offense is still okay enough.
Pretty good,
to get down the field, to, like I said, to have Robbie Gould kick those field goals, to the defense putting us in good field position, the defense scoring for us, Devin Hester, obviously.
Right.
That special teams blocking. Remember, we was blocking punts. We was blocking field goals. We was getting safeties that season. Is that the team we're expecting? Or are we going to have everything but offense again? I think that's the question, and that's why I was laughing, because it's like, the question is so vague and generic, so the answer has to be vague and generic too. Yep. So it's like, what are you asking? That's what I would do. If I got up there and I'm like, what do you mean? What are you expecting me to throw? If I was Caleb, what, you think I'm going to throw 5 touchdowns for week 1? Is that what you're asking?
That's what you asking? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
right?
like, that's what I'm saying. You want me to throw 5 touchdowns week 1? Yeah, are you going to be able to throw 5 touchdowns? I mean, I think that's a little bit of ambition, but, I think I will have a decent, game, my first game out. Like, and that's, maybe a touchdown to almost 300 yards, no interceptions, something like that. I think that's what they want to hear. Like, what are we actually going to see?
Okay, so I guess my question for both of y'all is, what do y'all think is a realistic time frame for the Bears offense and to look, I'm gonna just say competent. You know what I mean? Because we've had a lot of incompetent offenses in the last 6 years. You know, we don't want to. We don't want to see 4th and 1. If we're on 4th and 1, we should be able to get it. The Bears are probably one of the worst 4th and 1 teams. You know what I mean? We don't want to see false starts. We don't want to see, you know what I mean? Like that first play. I remember it like it's yesterday, and it's with Justin, it's with Mitch, it's with, you know, the highly anticipated quarterback marches on that field after the defense get a stop or whatever, and you come out there and go 3 and out. You know, like y'all, I know y'all know that. You remember that feeling all too well. It's demoralizing. So my question to y'all is, like I said, realistically, when do you feel like the Bears offense will look competent? And for me, I'm gonna answer the question first. Realistically, I was gonna say week 4 or 5. I was literally gonna say week 4 or 5. Realistically, like if we're gonna throw the high optimism out the window and be realistic, I say week 4, week 5.
I was gonna pull a DJ Moore answer and say week 1 of training camp, but I mean, realistically, I'm thinking that maybe. See, I'm going a little bit more optimistic and being like, it kind of depends on how they play him in the preseason. But like, if they give him a couple of like actual games where he's playing the whole game, I could see them getting traction by like game 2 of the preseason. Now, if they don't, I'm gonna go and say maybe week 2 or 3.
Week 2 or 3, you say in the West?
I said week 4, and like if we go back to I wasn't on the show, but I was like in comments when we did the whole schedule breakdown.
Oh, okay,
My schedule predictions and that. Like I said, I got us 3-1, 3 win week 2, 1, 2, and 3 we win. Week 3 we lose against the Rams, but I see that as a game you look at and be like, we were 1 play away, or a bad call away, or you know, just we couldn't get the ball back. You know, they held on to that possession a little bit better, that Rams team. And in that game, I would like to see, and me being optimistic and realistic, is to see a hard fought game. Like, yeah,
you say for the Rams game, right?
For the Rams game, yeah. Kind of like those Detroit games. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, we felt like Detroit is a really good team. We just gave Don his props on that and everything. But like I said, we won 1, and the other one was winnable too. And that's what I expect, and that's what I mean by confident. I'm not saying like, you know, how many games we're gonna win. Like, how are we gonna look in those games? Like,
competent.
Are we gonna look like you just said? You said competent. Like, you can look good in a game and lose. It's just, you know, football is a game of inches. Everybody says that. Sir. It could be a bad ball placement by a ref, that we don't get that first down that we need and we have to punt. And it's like, man, if they would have spotted the ball correctly, you know, we would have had 4 more downs and you know, that's what I'm thinking about. And I say I give them to week 4 to be able to have that feel of we're playing our best football against every single team, and you know, it's not often that teams, you know, win out in the season. You know?
Right.
So it's going to be some games that, you know, it's not going to really be our fault. I'm not even throwing in the penalties and stuff like that. I'm talking about bad spots. Gust the wind, take a football on the field goal that would have changed the game, or, you know, the ball was right on his hands, or, you know, like I said, stuff that we can't control.
The ball is shaped like it's shaped for a reason. It takes weird bounces. Yeah. So like you said, some things ain't gonna be in our control. We might get a strip fumble and that motherfucker bounce out of bounds because
that was our turning point. Everybody did their job. We just was at the wrong hash mark and the wind was blowing the wrong way, so the field, and they rolled that ball right out of bounds. Whatever, you know. So double doink, you know.
Double.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that we can't control, but like I said, looking competent, where the league looks like, okay, the North is just it's what everybody expected it to be, because the Bears look good. I'm pretty sure the Packers are gonna look good. Like, I mean, as a division, but I think we're gonna be looking at one of those teams like, okay, this is somebody that if they on your schedule, you whether y'all in London or in Chicago, you might want to come in and strap in because it's gonna be a game.
That's kind of how I was feeling like the whole second half of the season last year. I was telling people at work, like Eagles fans, Chiefs, I didn't care who you was. I'm telling you, like, y'all don't want to see us in the playoffs. We're playing some good football. We ain't winning every game, but we playing some damn good football. We are a scary team going into the playoffs. We didn't make it, but I think we would. I think we probably would have won our first game. Honestly, the way we were playing at the end of that season, not just the defense, but Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, they all say it. Justin got better as that season went on. We were playing some really good football to end that season, and I think we would have gave a lot of teams a run for their money if we got into the offs. But Devin, you mentioned something about preseason that I thought was interesting because we've been talking about this the entire time. Like, how many reps are they gonna get, the starters, and specifically Caleb? How many reps is he gonna get in the preseason? They asked Matt Eberflus about that, and this is what he had to say about Caleb Williams and his preseason reps.
What kind of thought have you given to using the preseason games, not only for Caleb, but for the entire offense, and trying to juggle, obviously, an extra game tacked in there, and how you're going to do that this year?
Yeah, that's a process that we're going through right now. I think it's something that we have to look at and talk about, which we'll be doing here in the next couple of days. I'm not going to forecast out exactly what it is right now because I haven't made any decisions yet. So I want to make sure that I visit with everybody. I'm in the process of exit meetings with all the coaches right now, and I got about half of them done. So I got to finish that up, and then I'll be able to think on that and do what's best for the Bears.
What's kind of the tug of war you go through with? You don't want to overexpose them, obviously.
Yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, you look at last year's reps. I mean, CJ, Bryce, Richardson, they all got between 45 and 65 reps in the preseason. So you look at those things and look at the past, look at, go deeper than that, go back a few years. So you're always looking at that, gathering the data. And like I said, we're going to do what's best for the Bears.
What's the biggest thing that Mercedes brings in his 19th season?
So, and did he say 45 to 65 or 45 to 60 reps? They obviously been thinking about this and doing some research because he knows what Bryce got, the reps Bryce got last year. The reps
and what CJ Stroud got.
CJ Stroud got, and there was one more quarterback he mentioned that I can't. Oh, Anthony Richardson. He knows. So they obviously have been thinking about this, and they know what Justin Fields. I think he played one of those games. I think he had like 120 some yards with 3 completions, and they just sat him. You remember that game?
Yeah, it was the first preseason game.
It was at the first one, yeah.
First
so
preseason game, they drove down. He had like 102 yards, 3 completions. DJ Moore, he threw a touchdown to DJ Moore, and it was like, oh yeah, he got his weapon. And then everybody was just standing there like, did they leave or go home? Like, what just happened? Like, where did DJ go? Did he quit? Did he just like, yeah, no, I don't like that?
Yeah.
Then he's just like, no, I don't like Justin. No, I thought it was gonna be good. And that's how I felt. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, do it again. Like, I do it one more time. Like, do it for the first quarter. Do it for the first.
Yeah.
Like, I spoke on what I think they should do. But for me, can't be like you say all the time. Like, it's football, man. You can't be scared, man. You gotta be out there. Like, and the opposite of possible injuries is more reps and experience. Yep. Like, what you want to do? Like, you want to get them these reps. You want them to get these experience. And like I said, first half is like Justin was still kind of like trying to get that experience with those guys.
Everybody
He should have did that in the in the preseason.
Yes, sir.
We could have been 3 or 4 games ahead of what we were towards that second half. You know what I mean? And plus, he got injured on top of that. So you take that out. That was 7 games worth of experience last season that Justin didn't even get.
Yep.
So, I think it's really important, and like I said, that's why I'm big on what they're trying to do with the offseason next year is kind of have everything build up instead of having all those breaks in between. It's like
in between.
Yeah, build up because you're gonna forget some things. You're gonna forget a question that you wanted to ask, or forget some information. You work out for a whole week, off 2 weeks. You're like, man, I forgot to ask that question about this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Stuff like that. So yeah, I hope they give him a lot of reps. And like I said, if it looks like if he take a hard hit or a hard slash, all right, okay, you done for the day. We gonna sit you down, and that's what you got to do. And especially in the preseason, like, oh yeah, But like I said, if it's looking bad, run out of bounds. It's not like the game counts.
Right.
Run out of bounds on 4th and 1. We don't care about the preseason, so.
And take your shots. Like you said, it don't count. It's preseason. Take your shots. Give Roma Dunze a chance downfield to moss somebody down there. Don't be scared to let it fly. Do things and make, kind of like they've been preaching all OTAs. Do things and make those mistakes. I think they said he threw a cross-body interception to Kevin Byard, and he ain't do that again. You know what I mean? Because he thought the window was bigger than what it was, but it's the NFL. You can't do that. You know what I mean? And they say he hasn't done that again. Devin, what you think about what Matt Eberflus had to say about the preseason reps?
It seems like they're really doing their research this time around. They really are trying to get a good idea of what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like last year was just kind of like we'll just do what we all, instead of thinking about the team as a new unit. They just kind of kept moving the way that they usually do, and that like most teams with the quarterback that they feel like they trust was just kind of put him in there for a few quarters to kind of get him back up to speed. But like it's different. Like I like that they're taking a different this year, because you can't just do what you always do, because this is a new quarterback. You have to get him up to speed more, because you're not getting him back up to speed like you would with like non-rookie quarterback. This is somebody that was playing at a college level last year. Now you want them to play at the NFL level, you're going to have to really get them up to speed, and I feel like they actually are doing their homework and hopefully they make the right decision and give him a lot more reps like Justin got last year. And it showed throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't gel on offense for a good, 3 or 4 or 5 games. And then we started to really click. And it was like, wait a second. Like, if he had played more during the preseason, maybe we would have been able to. I mean, we still might have lost against, Kansas City, those types of teams anyways. But at least we wouldn't have been, blown out by Kansas City, maybe. At least we would have had DJ Moore actually in the first couple of games, other than just, a couple of passes. Things would have gone a lot better, I feel like, if we had actually played our offense and ran our offense the preseason were regular season games.
Right. And so in terms of numbers, and when we talk about reps, and reps as in not just hiking the ball and handing it off, I mean pass attempts.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think is a good number? Because we got 4 preseason games. Everybody else have 3. We got 4. So I'm pretty sure, if I had to make a bet, I don't think Caleb will play much, if at all, in that first Hall of Fame game. I doubt he will, but I could be wrong, of course. So in terms of reps, pass attempts, how many would be a good number of pass attempts per preseason game, do y'all think? 15, 20 pass attempts?
Me personally,
Not just plays, but pass attempts.
Me personally, start off at about 25. I'm heavy loading them. I'm talking start off at about 25. Try to get 25 in, and that last preseason game, I want to see him throw almost 35 balls. I want to see him throw every ball. I want to test every ball. I want you to throw the crossbody across the field to get intercepted. Okay, well, practice stuff you bad at.
Right.
Practice, throw to the receiver you least like.
Yep. Good point.
You know what I mean? Shuffle pass. Do your best Aaron Rodgers impersonations. Do your best, Pat Mahomes impersonations. Go out there and zing some like you Drew Brees. Get out there and gunsling like Brett Favre. I want to see you do. You're supposed to be a generational talent who never played in the NFL. So let's see exactly what you got. And that's how I feel about it. Yes, and that include, I know Bears fans, I'm going to say this, that's include throwing some bubble screens, throw some of those too, but throw everything. I want to see everything. I want to see how you react in every situation. Because once you get in that situation, we got 40 seconds to get you ready for the next play. And that ain't enough time to try to, get you comfortable with doing it. Like, I want to see you doing it all, like, and be confident in doing it.
And ideally, he's going to be facing vanilla defenses. Like, they're not going to disguise in preseason. They might. I mean, when we played the Bengals, because we actually practice, we have a joint practice against the Bengals. Eberflus might go to Zach. What is their coach name? Zach Taylor or whatever his name is. They might get together like, hey, look, throw some of this at Caleb. I want to see, let's see how he works. If you can disguise this, so that game might be a little more strategic than the others, and then vice versa. The Bengals might ask Matt Eberflus, hey, show Joe Burrow this, or is Jake Browning this? Let's see if he can do this look. So, but besides that, it's going to be a bunch of vanilla defenses and a bunch of vanilla offense. We're not going to show anything. You know what I mean? We're not going to call our plays. It's just going to be simple concepts, shallow crosses, dig routes, and post and corner route, like just basic stuff, high-low concepts. So, like you said, let it fly, let it hang out, try everything, because you ain't gonna get no other chance to do it. You know what I mean? This is gonna be. It's only going to get harder to do those things, and why pull it out if you haven't worked on it? You know what I mean?
Or just do the opposite y'all did last preseason with Justin Fields. just do the fucking
don't
opposite.
do that.
Just don't do that. We don't want to see none of that. Nothing that y'all. If it reminds y'all of a scenario about Justin Fields, just don't do it. It might be. It's just a bad idea. That's how I feel. Just do the opposite.
Devin, how many reps? What you thinking about reps? 20, 25? Wait, hold on.
Wes,
you said 25?
Start off.
Okay, 25. What you thinking,
He
Devin?
said like 35 by the end. And honestly, like, when you asked the question, I was thinking to myself, that's kind of hard to really gauge because of the fact that, like, in the first preseason game he probably won't play as much as he does in the last one. So I was thinking, like, maybe in the first one, I'd like to see at least a minimum of, like, 20. And by the last one, I want to see, like Wes, I want to see, like, 30 to 40 pass attempts. Now, if they want to run or whatever, if they want to, like the shovel pass to Keenan Allen, who the downfield to DJ Moore, I would be very happy to see that. But I don't think they're going to break that out in preseason because then that's just kind of like showing people that you can do it, and you're showing them in a game that doesn't mean anything. Wait until the first game of the season, then let that fly, and do it when it actually means something.
Right.
So, but like, if they want to have fun out there and do something like that, I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, get those reps in and throwing passes. Like, get those pass attempts in. And I want to see him spread the ball around too. Like, I don't want to see like 25 reps, 25 passes, and like 19 of them go to DJ Moore. And then like one of them to Keenan Allen and nothing to Cole Kmet, nothing to Rome Odunze. Like, I want to see him get everybody involved so that it shows that he can get it to everybody. Like, you don't want to go into the season where the other team pretty much has an idea. You're not even going to look at Rome Odunze. You're not even going to look at Cole Kmet. You're looking at DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. Then they don't even need to worry about sticking their better cornerback, because like that's the problem we have is we have so many offensive weapons. I don't want teams to be able to say, yes, we have offensive weapons, but we don't utilize them, and in that process they don't have to worry about covering them as hard. So we've talked about like your third best corner going up against Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze is going to win that matchup most times. But if we don't even target Rome Odunze, it won't matter who they put on Rome Odunze anyways. So I do want to kind of see them spread around the ball to at the very least to at least show that you got to respect all of these guys on this offense.
Yeah, I mean, you just sit in this preseason, sit Keenan and DJ Allen for, sit them for a series and just put Rome, Tyler Scott, and Dante Pettis out there. Let them go against, that 1, 2, and 3 defensive backs. And let them go for a whole series and let them work on them, because that way, and then you put them. And that's the beautiful thing about football is like it's personnel packages too. It's who you putting out there. Now, like we said, we believe our 1, 2, and 3 can be pretty much anybody else's number ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you put Rome out there as the number 1 with Velus Jones and Tyler Scott. You know what I mean? And let them go through those progressions and all that kind of stuff. Because we really talking about Caleb, but when you put those receivers and those other personnel out there, when you take Cole Kmet off the field and put Mercedes Lewis in that spot, or put Jared Everett in that spot, and then you switch them out and put Cole Kmet to the right, Everett to the left, and vice versa, and that's what you do through the preseason. You run those same kind of plays. So when they come out there, they're like, man, Everett likes this on the left side. It's like, no, but we seen him like it on the right side too. Or we seen him go out in the slot. We seen him do this. So when we show these things, it's like the defense got to pick. You know what I mean? It's who you want to score 50. Who you want to catch the ball. Who you want to get hot. And they like, oh well, we're gonna shut down DJ. Well, what about Rome? Because now DJ is in the slot over there. Now Rome is out wide. And it's like, do we just bog down the box because Rome and Keenan is right there close to the line and leave Rome out there by himself with the number 3 cornerback? Like, okay, well, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Or do you put your number 1 out there and then bring him up the middle against Keenan Allen where he gonna get ate up too? Like, that's why I like personnel. Like, put your personnel out there different, and nobody has a. Like, I think we should just even omit this 1, 2, 3 X, Y, Z receiver. All our receivers can pretty much play off 2 to 3 different spots on the field as far as wide receiver goes, and you should run them that way and practice them that way, and let Caleb get the feel of each of them being in each of those spots. And all he's looking for is a Bears jersey. Like, I'm not looking for number 2. I'm not looking for number 13. I'm not looking for 85. I'm looking for that open blue jersey or that open white jersey or that open orange jersey. That's what I'm throwing to. I don't care who it is, and whoever I'm throwing to should catch the ball. Like I said before about, Justin Fields, when he was getting into some of those people, they had on Bears jerseys, but they looked like they was playing for other teams sometimes, the way they were dropping balls. So,
oh my gosh.
That's my whole point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that's what I would do if I'm Eberflus now. Everybody, it's winning by committee, man.
Yep.
That's why we got 52 people.
And y'all, you have more to go.
No, that's all.
Y'all boys hit it on the head. I mean, like you said, Devin, Wes, you too. Spread it around. Hit everybody, which everybody's gonna get a chance to play. Hit everybody. Let Everett touch the ball and see how it feels coming. With pads on and live bullets flying. See how it feels coming out your hands, and see how y'all timing and rhythm is, and get Cole Kmet the ball. Give Tyler Scott a shot down the field. Even Velus Jones. I saw him catch a deep pass in OT. Let's see if he can burn somebody deep. You know what I mean? Just throw it out there and let it all hang out. So, Wes, you said about 25 pass attempts.
If I could get 25, if I could get out my minimum, I would try. Like, if it ended up being 20, 21, 22, I mean, I'm not picky, but
20, 25, same thing, kind of.
Yeah, like, I'm saying, like, 20, 25. Like, let's throw the ball, too. Like, let's throw the ball. Let's run the ball, too. We got a decent running back room, too, as well. Like, let's throw them the ball. Like... let's get everybody in on it. Let's get everybody who's going to be able to catch a ball, because you never know with what people are going to do. Like I said, every week, the defensive coordinator is going to be like, oh, okay, I see.
Right.
And the next week, the next defensive coordinator, oh, I see those last 2 weeks. Oh, he don't like to throw to this guy. We don't want them to hit like, oh, he won't throw to this guy, or this guy is not good at catching, or, anything when it comes to Caleb. We want to be like, okay, like I said, if I'm a Bears offensive coordinator, I want them defensive coordinator like, who am I willing to let just go off? Who has the least amount of chance to go off? Is it Rome Odunze? Is it because like I said, if you got four out there, 2 wide on each side, and Velus Jones is the one that's cooking, or Tyler Scott is cooking, or I mean, it just goes back to, like I said, even though Justin Fields' game when he really didn't have nobody and DJ Moore was injured, and my cousin Dante Pettis was out there catching wide. I mean, how many? He had two touchdowns when nobody was around for like 20 yards because they weren't thinking about him. They weren't thinking about 18. They was like, okay, he was stuttering. I remember seeing him waving like Mickey Mouse in Disney World, open, wide open, cross field, 50-yard touchdown. Nobody was close to him. Like, that's how I wanted to be. What defensive players forget who's out there. They get in their progression. I'm going against DJ Moore. He can do this. He can do that. Woo up the bam. And DJ Moore not out there, and they like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, like that's what it is. Because it's the offense job to be precise. It's the defense job to be disruptive. If they don't know what to disrupt, then they just gonna be running around for no reason, running into each other.
So I'm in lockstep with both of y'all. I'm in lockstep about, like you said, 20 to 25 pass attempts. Early on, it probably won't be that. Like, let's not include the Hall of Fame game because I just said I doubt he'll play much, if at all. But the first preseason game, that's not the Hall of Fame game. I would love to see 20. I don't know if they'll let him do that, but I would love to see 20. And like you said, Wes, gradually get up to about 30 in that last game. Because in that last game, I want to see you out there for like a half of football. You know what I mean? Because after that, because most teams usually give their starters more playing time in that last game. So you're going to be playing against the other team starters for at least that first half of that game. And then after that, you got the Titans, and you're playing the entire game. So I'm right there with both of y'all, 20, 25 early on. And then that last game, I want to see it. I want to see 30 of them, 35 of them. You know what I mean? Draw those plays up with conviction. Now, who knows? I don't know what the Bears going to decide to do, but what's up, Wes?
No, I'm just saying because like that first, like I said, my thing is like that first game, play the first quarter, second game, play 2 quarters, maybe the last game, play maybe play the first series of the third quarter or something like that. All those other quarters, all those other times that Caleb is not on the field, that's when you can run your running backs. That's when you can run your run plays. That's when you can run, your misdirections. You can do some RPOs with the other quarterback that you're not really trying to test their arm. You're not really trying to test them. So that's when you can get all that run stuff in. We don't got Caleb out there to be, especially in preseason, to be handing the ball off. we did draft him because he can hand the ball off really well. Like, that's not what we got him for. We got him for his arm talent, and that's what we need to see. So, like I said, if they want to practice the run, do it with another quarterback during the preseason.
Okay, so we sound. It seemed like we all agree on he needs to play. They need to fucking play. We don't want to see that. Like Justin, like we said, 120, 130 yards, but he didn't even push the ball down the field and they took him out. You know what I mean? DJ Moore had like an 80-yard screen pass touchdown and they just took him out, and it was very negligent in my opinion.
They didn't work on everything, and that's why when it came down to it, he wasn't comfortable throwing the ball or spreading the ball around because you didn't let him do it in preseason.
You didn't let him do it in preseason, so I think we're in lockstep there. I do got one more clip to play about this OTAs, and this Shane Waldron. We ain't talked too much on Shane Waldron as I think we probably should, but we got 5 weeks to get into it. We got 5 weeks to do a lot of shit, and it's the dog days of the NFL offseason. But Shane Waldron was kind of asked the same question that Caleb was asked about when is this offense going to be ready, or are we going to hear a bunch of it's a work in progress speak? You know what I mean? So here's Shane Waldron's answer to the Bears' offensive potential.
To that end, we've seen a few first-year coordinators and first-year quarterbacks, and the lament is always the same. It's a work in progress. It's first year of the offense, and it's a 17-game season. What hope do you have, especially with the expectations for this team, what hope do you have of some semblance of hitting the ground running with a first-year offense and a first-year quarterback, and maybe not have some of the trials that most first-year offenses with new quarterbacks have.
I think for us, it's about, living in the moment, being where our feet are planted. For us, especially on offense, the 17-game season, we know that's a grind. There's a lot of different things that are going to happen throughout the course of that season, and knowing what goals and expectations might be, but having that narrow, singular focus on what the day entails. I think that allows us, and I know there's different storylines or different things that get written about the full broad picture outside the building. But for us inside the building, it's hard to visualize much more than, the next day, the next practice, the next week. And I think living in that mindset really will help us, armor up for the different ebbs and flows that have happened in the past with those. And not to say that we're not aware of them. You study around the league, you see different things that happen. And for us, like I said, like every season, every team's different, every situation's different. So I can't predict the future with that. I know we can work hard and work to put our best product on the field as soon as possible.
But have you seen I know it's early, but have you seen indications, even in this rudimentary stage, that you can be more like the Texans, where they're the comp for this team, that you can be more like them than some of the other teams? Have you seen at least any indications that what you have, you can be that or be close to that?
I think we can be the best version of the 2024 Bears. And so, comparisons to different teams and different situations, to me, those aren't what we're looking at in terms of saying those are apples to apples. Those are different scenarios. There's different pieces of each scenario that we can pull from. But for us, we're just trying to be the best version of ourselves. And we feel like we have good pieces around, our offensive structure right now. And guys are bought in. The personalities are gelling. The people are great. And so with that, the results will come. So we'll stick with the process. We'll stick with our daily improvement and that daily grind, and then let the results happen.
How confident are y'all in Shane Waldron as just in general? Like, we haven't talked about him much on this show. How confident are y'all in him?
I'm pretty confident in him. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm more confident in him coming in than we had when Eberflus came in, to be honest with you. But I like what he said, though. I mean, because, no, seriously.
Hold on, before you elaborate. when Flus came in, you weren't too happy. Like when he came in as the first time head coach.
Yeah, the first time head coach, I'm like, I looked at everything about him and everything. So I'm like, head coach though. And that's the thing is, like, this is our offensive coordinator. Like, head coach, I got a thought on him when we get into Waldron. We have a Waldron segment. I get into my book of everything right here.
And I've been waiting to hear what you had on Waldron. You've been waiting for that.
I've been waiting for Waldron, but I like what he said. And then on top of that, it's basically how we build. We know what we got. If we are, like I said, we are our best. If Keenan Allen is the best Keenan Allen that he is, you know what I mean? We should. I mean, that's 1,000+ yards. If DJ is the best DJ, that's 1,000+ yards. If Cole Kmet, the best Cole Kmet, that's 750 yards.
Yes, sir.
If Caleb is his best self, that's a generational talent of an arm. We're not going to throw stats on it. The same with Roma Doomsday, Mercedes Lewis. We know that he's a productive. Gerald Everett, productive. Our defense, if we get that same defense, that's like I said, week 19, week 20. Post from last year, we keep that same defense coming. We like I said, we looked at a bunch of other people who analyzes the defenses and all that kind of stuff. The Bears is top 10, top 5, number 1 on most people's list. If that's the kind of Bears team that's coming out, I mean, Devin, Tory Taylor, the punter. If he's the best, if he's that punter, if he's that leg is what it's supposed to be, like, we bringing in an awesome onslaught of returners, whether they punt return specialists or kick return specialists, to kind of counteract this new ruling that we got with special teams and all this other kind of stuff. He said everything that I would expect him to say. Like, yeah, we see what the comps is and all that kind of stuff, but if we're the best 2024 Bears per position, it's no question. It's nothing. We got good rookies coming in. We got good veterans that's here. Even like I said, even our rookies coming in, if they show flashes of even what they did in college, like, this is going to be a team that, like you said, Mike, it's going to be somebody that you can't bang a stick at. It's going to be somebody that you really gotta come bring your A game, or you will take a L.
You will take a L. Devin, what you thinking about the Shane Waldron comments on Chicago Bears not being the Chicago Bears just trying to be the best 2024 Bears they could be. No comparisons to any other team.
I mean, it's kind of saying exactly what you would expect him to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he goes out there and they ask him, like, what do you expect to be? And he's like, what else can he say other than be the best versions of themselves? Like,
Right.
but I agree in the sense that, like, if the team is if the individual players are the best version of themselves, they play the way that they have shown in the past that they can play. Like,
Mhm.
I don't see any version of a bad season. But see, then there are the players that you're looking at and you're saying, okay, there are these players that you expect to improve. And when you see the players that improve, like, even if for, like, let's just take like DJ, like, if those players play like at their best, like the best that they have shown us at least, that's still pretty damn good. Then you throw in the players like we have some defense, they improve on how they played last year. Like, the defense played very well last year, and if some of the players improve on how they played last year, our defense could be almost unstoppable, or I should say unscorable, to be like unable to score against them. And then you have somebody like Rome, who he comes in and he doesn't have a, like, compared to last year, so he could
Right.
potentially have a pretty solid season just benefiting. And then we look at, like, we didn't do terrible last year. Like, our record was not great, but it wasn't like we had a 2 whatever record. Like, we wide receiver, and
I was about to say, did we lose
we
that?
had Cole Kmet as our pretty much secondary option, but not to throw to. And just think that, like, I kind of want to see them improve as opposed to just play at the best they've shown.
Progression, and that's usually all you can ask for is progression. Like, did you get better from last year? Did you improve from last year in some way, shape, or form? Not necessarily on a stat sheet, but does it look better? Is your technique better? Are you in your stance quicker and faster? Are you getting off the ball faster than you did last year? That's simple improvement, especially with the young guys, the rookies and the sophomores. And which brings me to my first question for y'all. What second year, third year player, if y'all had to pick one, do you think, not who you hope or do you wish, but who do you think will take that next jump, sophomore jump or third year jump? We got who was rookies last year? Let's just go down some of our rookies from last year. Tyree Stevenson. We had Javon. We had Zach Pickens. We had some later round guys. Am I missing somebody? Some of those later round guys. Who am I missing? Terrell Smith. We'll throw him in there. He had some run last year. Who am I missing? Roshan. Yep. Good. Roshan Johnson. That's 5. This is just 5 rookies. Then we got the third year guys. Get Kyler Gordon. This is gonna be his third year, right? Kyler, Jaquan.
Velus Jones,
Braxton Jones, Velus Jones. I forgot about Darnell Wright. You know, I was grouping him.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. I may need to change my answer.
Yeah, I was grouping him in with some of the veterans for some reason. But, like, so who do y'all think, second year guys and third year guys, who will take that? If you had to put money on it, who y'all think will take that leap first?
I'll let Devin go first.
So I've been hearing a lot about, like, Javon Dexter, and potential that he's been showing a lot lately and stuff like that. But if I'm gonna put money on it, I'm not gonna be putting money on Javon Dexter right now. I'm gonna be going ahead and putting money on Tyreek Stevenson. As much as I feel like Darnell Wright is also gonna make a huge jump, for me it's got to be Stevenson, because like he went from like mild, decent like coverage early on in the season last year, and I feel like he was getting the throws more on the other who nobody wanted to throw towards, so they had to throw towards Tyreek Stevenson, and he kind of went through it a little bit in the early in the season, but he became a high quality cornerback towards the end of the season. Get a few picks there. I think he had one game where he had 2 interceptions, and he was just regularly annoying the heck out of those wide receivers. I think muted, Mark.
So you're going with my bad. I was muted. So who you going with?
Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson. That's a good pick, and I was weighing. He was battling with a couple other guys in my head. Wes, you want to go next, or should I take it?
You can go.
If I was going to bet on a second year or third year Bear, and I'm gonna just not say Stevenson just because you took him. I fucking hate our second and third year players. I'm just playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
You picking Javon. You picking for Javon.
You know I ain't picking him, and I ain't picking Braxton. Them two that I'm not picking. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But I'm gonna go with. Fuck. Kyler missed 8 games last year, didn't he? He could have had such a good season. Yeah. You know, he had, I think
8. Javon missed. Jaquan missed what, 4?
Like 4, because I remember Kyler didn't even start the season, right? He had that broken arm or broken forearm or broken hand, some shit like that. Oh man, it's between Darnell and Kyler. A lot of people high on Jaquan, but he's a safety, so I don't know how much I want to. I'm gonna go with Kyler. I think he gonna get a lot of work in that slot with Keenan Allen in the training camp. Keenan Allen gonna teach him a few things. What do he have? 2 or 3 picks last year? I know at least 2 for sure. Mm-hmm. I think he gets some more. I think he get 4 picks. I'll give him 4 picks this year. He might take one to the crib. I think he gonna dominate. He gonna be like Bryce Callahan was for us in that slot at the slot cornerback. And like I said, it was a battle between him, Tyreek, and Darnell Wright for me. And Darnell, the thing with Darnell is it's just so hard playing that tackle spot. That's so hard. So and he still got some work to do. I'm gonna go with Kyler.
And I feel like he's not surrounded by a whole bunch of other players, like a whole bunch of other great players.
Yeah, the guy next to him, Nate Davis, hasn't been practicing. So,
whereas, like you were saying with Kyler, he's kind of surrounded by a bunch of good players around him that can help him get better, and also like we got Kevin Byard, who definitely seems to have taken on that like mentorship and role, and then discussed the concept of like they're not playing specific positions anymore.
Right.
It's more like, I mean, they're not like locked in for the year or whatever. They're going to kind of like be more flexible about which one they play, and they're doing it so that like it can confuse the defense or confuse the offense a bit more, and giving him that extra ability in his game. I think that you're right. He probably is going to have a breakout season this year.
I mean, you miss 8 games. That's a lot of games. There's a lot of fucking games to miss. That's half the season, and he still had a good sophomore season with missing those 8 games. The dude was in the box because when he comes in, he's in the box in that slot, and he had some good hits. He was stopping the run on some plays.
He might
I'm
have
going
even
with
had a
Kyler
sack or
Gordon.
two.
Yeah, I'm going with Kyler Gordon. I'm going with Spider-Man. Before you go, Wes, let me just say this. If you're tuning in to the Black Bear Podcast, this is 3 the Hard Way. We go live every Saturday about 5:30 p.m. We started a little early today, but you can tune in and catch us live every Saturday. And then we also got some Bears news and Bears updates that we trickle out throughout the week. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and jump in that comment section. Tell us how y'all feel about some of the topics being discussed today. Right now, we're talking about what second year or third year Bear will take a jump for the Chicago Bears in 2023. What you got, Wes?
Because I knew somebody was gonna take the easy route and pick Tyreek Stevens.
I'm about to say, damn, Kyler was easy.
That was easy, but Kyler and Jaquan was probably other one. But
who you got, man?
You know who I got. I'm gonna go on the other side of the ball, and I'm gonna go with somebody that I seen working, that I know working, that I know working. And I know you ain't big on him, but I gotta go with Roschon Johnson. That's why I brought him up when you asked about him. I'm thinking because I don't think that Khalil Herbert is gonna get the reps that most people think he's gonna get.
Good point.
And I think that just like with JJ and Tyreek Stevenson, is going to be a mimic effect. Just how like Jalen Johnson when he first came in, they was going at him, they was testing him, and he showed that he was proven all the way up until this year. That's why he got the big contract. And if you look at Tyreek Stevens, it's kind of similar. Like when Johnson first came in, he was his first season. What he had like 4 picks his first season too, I think, something like that.
Who?
Jalen Johnson.
His first, Jalen Johnson didn't get a pick, and he only had 1 pick going into last season.
Going to last season? I thought he had at least 4 the season, something like that season before that.
He had 1 career pick going into last year. Yeah, he struggled with picks. That was his whole thing.
Maybe, okay. I thought he had more than what he said. Maybe he just dropped a lot of
He
them.
definitely dropped.
But I remember watching him, and I remember they was, commentators, they was going to pick on him and, all this other kind of stuff. And from what I've seen overall, like he held his own, and then like I said, he upped his game, and that's kind of how it was with Tyreek Stevens. Because I remember watching him come out, and I'm like, oh, here he come. Like when Gordon went down and he was going down, and I'm like, hopefully this guy, because it's been a lot of the nickelbacks and stuff that came out there for the Bears and with jersey numbers and names that I'm like, I don't even know who this dude is.
Exactly.
Like, who is this dude getting burned right now? Like, I don't know. And like I said, Stevenson held his own, but I'm going with Roschon simply because, just like Devin said about Darnell Wright, like he don't have a lot of high talent veterans around next to him. Roschon has DeAndre Swift. He's been working out with DeAndre Swift. He's going to probably try to mimic a lot of the stuff that DeAndre Swift has done. And I know he had a little down season, I think, in Philly when he went back home to play for his home team. But we played against him. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was just a little...
I do that just because I've heard that he had a down season. But he had his most yards in his career in Philly.
Right. I mean, like I said, as far as like the odds, he was expecting all this other kind of stuff. But like I said, we played against him when he was with the Lions, and I remember how he ran against us, and he did well. And like I said earlier this summer, like I sent the videos in. As soon as he came over, the first thing Roschon did was, hey, I don't know, let me get your phone number. I don't know how they linked on Instagram, how they linked.
I remember that.
You know what I mean? Them boys was in there, and I looked at Roschon and the way he was and the way he is, it's like he's grinding. And like I said, I feel like if he get the touches that he's supposed to get, and if he gets the the ball, like I said, the ball thrown to him, like, cause he can catch, he can run. I mean, he's not like a downhill diving to the power. He's that as Colin would say, that twitchy kind of running back. That's But I like his explosiveness. I like how he was coming out of college. The high expectations on him, and I think he will have the biggest jump out of all of them. And hopefully it's a major jump to the point where, he solidifies that number 2 running back position. If not, battles, Swift for taking over. It'll be contract friendly for us in the future and all that kind of stuff. I see a lot in him. I know, You know, I had to beat that drum loud a couple weeks ago for you. I had to beat it super super loud, but you know, based on like I said, on the attempts that he got, I think he had less than probably like 20 attempts, and he still had close to 400 yards.
So,
Well, actually, there is one more player that we forgot to mention that could have your jump.
enlighten us.
Tyson Bagent.
Oh my God! Look, look. Honestly, though, Tyson. If Tyson takes a jump, he's gonna be a starter at some point and leave the Bears. You know what I mean?
If Tyson takes a jump, it's a very bad position for the Bears to be in. Like,
Not
he
necessarily.
shouldn't even
not
necessarily
necessarily.
be getting on the field unless something bad happened.
And necessarily
I
bad is
hear
not
you.
as-
I understand that.
For me, it's such things as a quarterback is concussion protocol, and it's how they look at it and all that kind of stuff. And that, I think, did that take Bryce Young out for a game or something like that? It took a couple quarterbacks that was still clear, but because the way it happened,
They took C.J. Stroud out for sure.
Was
I
it
mean,
C.J. Stroud went out for a game just because it? I mean, he was cleared, but because he went into the protocol, you know what I mean? That could be an issue. And like, I'm not a Tyson Bagent hater. I mean, 2 for 2, he was all right. I mean, I could see if, you know, something like that came up, or even if he balled out in the preseason, you know. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo got a job, and he, you know, he didn't get a lot of opportunity, but, you know, he did enough to where teams saw that he could be, you know, that receiver. I mean, that quarterback. And with the way quarterback carousel is running on the NFL right now, if you're not, you know, Trevor Lawrence getting like a $275 million, you might land a job somewhere.
I saw a poll, I saw a ranking. I forgot who produced it, and I should be able to cite my sources, but I can't. But they had Tyson Bagent number 25th for backup quarterbacks in the league, which was weird to me because I'm higher on Tyson Bagent. I thought he played well. I do think he got physical limitations like arm strength, and that's huge for a quarterback. But when it comes to processing the field and throwing the ball 10, 20 yards, I think he got it. He ain't finna sling it 30, 40 yards down the field consistently, but I like Tyson Bagent. And I saw that ranking and that had him 25th, and I just thought it was insane. I think he was even behind, like, I can't even think right now, but he was behind some weak-ass backup quarterbacks. There's not that many great backup quarterbacks in the league. We saw like 60 different quarterbacks play last season. Everybody was hurt. So, but I want to stick to your Roschon Johnson pick because when the jump would ideally be fucking kind of like become like a committee backfield almost. You know what I mean? Kind of like you would want to see him be like a David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, not like to that extent, but like that aura. Like, okay, they got two guys, right? They got two guys in Chicago, not just Swift. So, because when we think of the Lions, we like, oh, they got both of those. We don't just think of one, regardless of who has the better game. You go in there preparing for both of them. So, I guess that's kind of what you're saying with the jump.
I feel like the way Khalil Herbert came back, it's like he was active, but like I've stated this before, he didn't seem active to me. Like he didn't seem strong, he didn't seem fast, he wasn't catching balls in the flat, and like I said, if I'm looking at it, like we said, we haven't. I mean, I don't even think we've seen no, off-season stuff from him or anybody. I mean, everybody got something on their Instagram or some peak or you know what I mean. I ain't seen I ain't seen him in no OTA clips. I ain't seen him, really nowhere. But like I said, what I seen Roschon last season when he did have to come up, and like I said, he did his best, with the little amount of attempts that he had. And I mean, Swift he's not gonna go out there every single down. He's not gonna take every single snap, So, but I think that their attributes and their characteristics, as far as how they are as running back, obviously I think Swift is a way better running back than Roschon, but I think he could beat that kind of caliber backup, and I would like to see them give him the opportunity to do that, not only in the preseason but in the season. If Swift's not out there, and I see her out, okay, we got, like you said, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, something like that. Yeah, let Khalil Herbert ball, barrel into,
barreling,
barrel
yeah.
into the pile of people like he likes to do and try to push that pile. But if we trying to get yards and get it north, and Swift not out there, I'll put my money on having Roschon out there to be in that extra weapon. And like I said, I just talked about Caleb throwing the ball to running backs, and Khalil Herbert is like he can't catch a football to me, to be honest with you. And if we want to send our offense around Caleb and his skill set, bring him out bringing those running backs out that backfield, RPO style, screens or whatever, or throwing the ball into the flat, throwing it out to Swift and let him, do like DJ do, catch that ball and then get some yards out the catch. Same thing with Roschon. Let him catch that ball, get some yards out the catch. Let him run fast, let him run hard, and he's fearless too. So I like him. I think his jump, like from what we see this year to next year, should be doubled, if anything, as far as giving him those opportunities.
And you mentioned Khalil Herbert a few times, and I just realized we left him off because this will be his third year, right?
Yep.
He's a third year Bear, right?
Third year Bear.
Okay, so, but it don't sound like we high on him at all to take that leap. So,
I mean, before
so we
the
got.
injury, no, I was just saying before the injury, I was like, okay, cool. He's a strong power back. After that injury, it just don't look like he came back with that same confidence he had before.
Yeah, I loved him with David Montgomery. I thought he was a great compliment to David Montgomery. Like, put him in. They had different styles. You know what I mean? I love David Montgomery. I wish he was still in Chicago. Though. Okay, so I went with Kyler.
Almost makes us look at David Montgomery better now that Montgomery left and still doing the same thing, complimenting someone else, and Khalil Herbert does not look the same.
Right, especially after that injury. So I went with Kyler. Devin, you went with Tyreek, right? And Wes, you went with Roschon Johnson. That's interesting. Definitely gonna keep those receipts and revisit that as the season go on and see who's taking that jump and who not taking that jump. All right. Any other OTA? Look, I do got one more question before we move on from off of OTAs. But any other like topics y'all want to discuss on this OTA situation?
I do want to bring, obviously, I mean, it's Caleb's world, so
yeah, and my next question is about Caleb. So
I mean, if you want to ask your question, I could probably piece my statement into your question.
Into the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, there's actually a lot that so hold on, before I get to the question. Actually, you know what? What do y'all need to see from Caleb Williams in training camp, in preseason, that have you feeling like, okay, let's go? Like anything. This is personal, literally personal. It don't gotta be what people think football should look like or what other people. Personally, between the two of y'all, what you need to see? Like, what would make you feel good about going into week 1 with Caleb Williams? What do you need to see in preseason and training camp from Caleb Williams?
I'll go first because it's actually what my statement was going to be. It's what they talked about, what a lot of the media that was there got to see, and I need to see. And like I said already, I want to see him do everything. I want him to test every limit. I want him to throw every type of pass. I don't want to see what he's good at. We already know what he's good at, or we want to draft him number 1. I want to see him making those difficult throws. I want to see him practicing in those NFL windows. Like I said, with this defense, you have the defense that can test you. You have you have those veterans, those defensive backs, those safeties, those linebackers. Our linebackers can cover pretty well. I mean, they had some interceptions, some batted down balls too. I want you to practice throwing over, TJ and Tremaine and Sanborn and Jack. I want to see you testing them, throwing just above they reach into that pocket, over the linebackers, in front of the safeties. I want you to test those windows. I need you to, like I said, bubble screens or whatever, test it in the flat. Throw that ball out there to Swift. Throw it out to Roschon. Throw the ball to Khalil Herbert. Throw that ball everywhere on the field, because we want defensive coordinators to really, really spend the entire week leading up to a Bears game thinking about what am I willing to give up? Because they have everything, and like we said, we saw how the team is built. We built for tight ends to succeed. We built for our wide receivers to succeed. We built for our running backs to succeed. You know, offensive line, as long as they hold up and do their job, like we as far as Caleb is concerned, it shouldn't be a window on the field, a play on the field, or a defense on the field. He shouldn't have a competent person or a competent play to, you know, de facto defeat it, you know, and that's what I want to see. I want to see. I'm okay with seeing interceptions. I'm okay with seeing balls flew a little high, a little low, because, you know, as far as K's personality and what they're telling us is he's a man who likes to correct himself. So he has to throw that bad pass. He has to get it all out. Just bottom line is get all the bugs out. Shake everything out. Get it all out. Get comfortable. Get the woes out. Throw the interception. Hang your head in preseason. Hang your head in camp. Let everybody say it's gonna be all right. Now you go back out. I don't want to see you slouched on the sideline during the season, or with your head in your hand, or staring at the tablet like you don't know what you're doing. Or what's that one quarterback? Was it Zach Wilson? That was out there. I was seeing ghosts. I don't want to hear none.
That was Sam Darnold.
That was Sam Darnold. That was seeing ghosts. I don't want to hear none of those excuses. I don't want to hear I need to practice that more. That's what I want to see. I want to see him doing everything, throwing to everybody, throwing up every part of the field in every situation, and just get comfortable with doing it. Success or failure in preseason and in camp, whatever. But I want to see you try it. That's all I need to see from him. I need to see try.
Devin, you want to take over, or you want me to jump in with mine?
I'll go.
All
so
right.
one of the things that I'd like to see is issue dealing with it, and they were saying he hasn't had to use cadence in past 3-4 years.
That was actually one of my talking points today. I'm glad you mentioned the cadence situation.
Yeah, I mean, they said that, he's getting better at it, but, in the beginning, he needs to try and figure out, okay, he needs to say it loud enough for certain people to hear him, but not too loud that you're completely understand you and clearly know what you're about to do. But, it's okay, so, he's got to clean that up a little bit, but that's one of the things, to me, the reason that I say that's the thing that I need to see from him is because once I know that he can get that down, it shows me that everything else will be able to fall into place. Once you start to see that he can learn something that maybe he hasn't done in the past 4 years, he can figure things out. Once you see that he can really figure these things out, then you'll know that he's good enough to figure out the other things too. So once you see him get over this hurdle, you're able to really kind of understand this is the type of quarterback he is. And they said that last year they tried a little bit with they had to simplify the offense with Justin Fields. And one of the cadence was an issue, as far as when it comes to all the different options and stuff like that you have are within that cadence. And if you're having trouble with that, they have to simplify the offense into what you can grasp.
Yeah.
And if Caleb can pick up on the cadence and how he needs to say things and stuff like that, he'll be a lot better, and they won't have to potentially simplify.
So, like I just said, I'm glad you brought up the cadence thing, because that if anything has, we had that horrible first practice that the media was at. Remember that a couple weeks ago we talked about that. and it ain't looked that bad since. And I say horrible because I want to put emphasis on it. It was a really bad practice. Like, it wasn't even. It was. There's no sugarcoating. It was bad, and he has been way better since then. He ain't went back to that. But you brought up the cadence because that's been the issue that I've been hearing lately. And like you said, he's not used to it. He's been doing the clap. You know, the most college quarterbacks clap to snap the ball. That's what they do. And then in the NFL, it's people like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning with the Omaha, you know what I mean? They mastered that cadence. Well, first of all, Rodgers has gotten people to jump. He probably got the most people to jump off sides using his cadence than any other quarterback in history. Now, I'm just saying that because I've seen it a lot, but I could be wrong. But the Bears are trying to get Caleb Williams into that mold where you're literally controlling the game now. You know what I mean? You feel so comfortable where you could just go up there and say a bunch of, like, you know, you could joke around at the line of scrimmage, really, but you're controlling the game. You know what I mean? You green 42, hut, and you still ain't sniped the ball. You can say hut 5 times and the ball ain't snapped because everybody's on the same page. But in practice right now, they're struggling with that. There's a lot of false starts. There's a lot of just Caleb Williams isn't loud enough sometimes because I've been hearing Andrew Billings. Andrew Billings been loud as fuck. First of all, that defensive line has been loud. That the D-backs have been loud. They've been talking shit out there. So Caleb got to get used to it. It's going to be thousands and thousands of fans in your ear just screaming. You got to communicate and control those men on that field. And Caleb has been struggling with it. Now, do I think he's going to continue to struggle with it? No. But if he does continue to struggle, like you said, Devin, they're going to have to simplify things. And you don't really necessarily want that, but he is a rookie. And if you got to start with some training wheels on, start with some training wheels on. We saw last year Justin Fields. Y'all remember? Justin Fields finally got it down where we got somebody to jump. I forgot what team we were playing against, but we got him to jump. DJ Moore took off on the left.
Was it?
Touchdown.
Was it Atlanta?
The Lions.
Oh, it was the Lions. Okay.
Huh?
I remember
Lions,
that, and it was beautiful. Love
Yeah, and it was a relief because the Bears are usually on the receiving end of those fucking epic defensive blunders. It's usually us, but we finally got on the positive side of that, and it was nice seeing that from Justin Fields. But I hope Caleb can command the offense in that way.
He'll be all right.
I think so. I think so too, Wes.
He's an Aaron Rodgers fan. He stated that 1,000 times, which is probably, I mean, as Bears fans, we like, you know, okay, I guess, you know. For me personally, I'm like, okay, I guess you could be an Aaron Rodgers fan. That's cool. You grew up liking Aaron Rodgers. It's not like you're from Chicago, so I get it. And if he had to mimic anybody, like you said, seen him a bunch of times, right?
A bunch of times, yeah.
We know exactly what Aaron Rodgers is, and if that's what it takes to get our team on track and winning games and all that kind of stuff, for you to go out there and green 88 or blue 88, and you have to do it just like Aaron Rodgers did, like you said, he's one of the best to get, you know, teams to jump off sides, and he controlled that linebacker. If that's what it takes, man, look, at this point in time, like I said, everything before this season with the Bears, I'm acting like it didn't exist, and I'm just going to start now. And like I said, if you want to mimic Aaron Rodgers, he got 2 MVPs. He got a Super Bowl. Fine. You know what I mean? Okay, cool.
You're right.
Go for it there, you know? And I think that's what it is. And just like the student that they keep saying he is, and everybody keeps saying that the student of the game he is. And those aren't like those mouth service phrases a lot of people say. Like, I don't hear them saying that about J.J. McCarthy. I don't hear them saying that. They say, okay, he looks good and all this kind of stuff, but they don't talk about even a lot of these rookies. I think the only one I've heard in the last couple years that they said was kind of like that was C.J. Stroud. It was like he's a student of the game. Like, he sit there and he you know, obsess over certain things. It's like, how can I get it? I'm pretty sure Caleb probably sit around all day painting his nails, just working on cadence, probably. And like I said, I sent the Dan O'Leary thing from ESPN, or was it NFL or whatever, when he went over, like, this is something that all rookies have to go through and continue to do. And it's not, for me, and not, well, kind of to bang on your drum, Devin, I don't see it as a hump. I see it as a muscle. Like, he has to keep working on it to get it stronger. He has to keep working on it, and it's not something that, you know, would change overnight, but we're gonna see, like you said, from that first time in the gym when he couldn't lift the bar at all, next time in the gym we could put some 5s, some 2.5s on there, and now he's lifting. You know, now he's lifting. The more weight we keep putting more, the more he works on it. And I think the way he is, I think that he's gonna be fine with it, dude. I think what he needs to do is figure out what he feels comfortable with and tell everybody else, this is how I'm doing it. This is how it's going to sound. Oh, well, you know, when I was with, like, he brought up Keenan Allen and Justin, and the Justin thing. He missed Justin, all that kind of stuff. I don't care how he said it over there. And
Herbert,
you know,
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Like, Herbert. Like, I don't care how he said it over here. This is how I'm saying it. And when I get to hit, this is what I do. And when I get to that, this is how loud I'm going to sound when I say it. This is how loud. And he's getting, like I said, I bring up the Dan O'Leary segment because he talked about how almost the whole offense sit in a room and they go over the cadence together and they all clap together and they have Caleb stand up there and we're going to go on this. And everybody clap, okay, well, the left side you kind of off. Like, this is how he's saying it. Now, this is when you clap. Caleb, do it again. Everybody clap right now, okay? Now let's go over it again. I think they spent weeks and weeks and weeks on doing that. And it's just something that everybody else has to do. I don't blame it on the quarterback. I blame it mainly on the rest of the offense. You have to know when how his hard count is, how it's going to be. You need to practice that. That's that chemistry that Warren was just talking about. Like, I like how their chemistry and their personalities are meshing because they're not getting mad at each other, counter to what everybody else is saying, when something is not going right. They're not, oh, this rookie, man, he sucks because he can't do it the right way. And it's like, the right way is the quarterback's way. He's the one that's starting the offense. So if you can't get in, I think that's another thing that kind of Justin was lacking on is because everything kept changing. Every season it was a little bit different, and they kept changing everything up. And he got to the point where he even said, like, I don't feel like myself. How can, if it starts with me and I don't feel like myself, how can the offensive line be one with me if I'm not even me? Or how can the receivers be one with me if I'm not me? And I think that's what we need. Like I said, if you feel like you was doing it with Justin Fields, don't do it. Make sure Caleb feels like Caleb. Whatever words he want to say, as long as it's not foul language or vulgar, they could be broadcast on TV. Let him do the cadence how he want to do it. Let him get in the field how you want to get it. And everybody else, y'all professionals too. A lot of y'all are veterans too. You should be able to, and a lot of y'all been on different teams. You should be able to come in and change yours just a little bit to cater to the captain of the team, the leader of the team, the quarterback, the generational talent. You should be able to do that, not him trying to change for you.
And cadence specifically is when you get to the line of scrimmage and you're doing your cadence. Green 18, hut, whatever y'all going on. But it starts in that huddle. And those NFL plays are long as fuck. Like you mentioned, Dan Orlovsky, he actually, like, I know y'all seen it. He held up the playbook and he showed like the names of these plays. They're long as shit. So when I played, I was middle linebacker and I was running back, and I called the plays on the defense. They were short and simple. But when I was a running back, I had to stand behind the lineman in the huddle, and the quarterback would come and he would say, it was kind of long. Imagine the length of the fucking, because the play call is going to have language for each set of players. You're going to have language for the offense. You're going to have language for the the offensive line. You're going to have language for the wide receivers. You're going to have language for the running backs. You're going to have language for the quarterback. And you're going to have language for, did I miss a position? The tight ends. You're going to have language for each position group in that play. So it's really a bunch of fucking random ass words. Y'all, I don't know if y'all saw the quarterback series on Netflix with Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins, and all them. But they show you, like, Marcus Mariota sitting in the kitchen with his wife, and she's helping him remember these plays. And it's just, each play call takes like 20 seconds to say because it's so goddamn long. So it's a lot that he got to get through. I do think cadence is important because, like I said before, it control you feel once you get the cadence down, you're in control. You know what I mean? You can go out there. So say we get into the huddle and we say the play blah 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 on 3, ready, break. You get to the huddle now the important part is that on 3 part. Don't snap the ball until I say hut 3 times. Or if I say on 4, on 5, when I say hut, that third hut, you snap the ball. You know what I mean? Those things give you control. So if I say hut twice and I said on 3 and you move because you as an offensive line, like, you know what I mean? So it's all those things that they got to get down. And it's not even just with Caleb, because I've been hearing DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and even Roma Dunze. I've been hearing they've been running some of the wrong routes. I don't know if y'all heard that too, but the routes have been wrong. It's a work in progress. This entire thing is a major work in progress. And I do think they're going to get it down, especially Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. The dudes, they're pros. So I do think they're going to get it down. But I like that you brought this cadence thing up, Devin, because if you get the cadence down, you can completely control the offense because the defense can't move. The defense can't do shit until you say go. You know what I mean? So in a way, you controlling them too. And you can say hut, and you can see a defensive end jump, twitch, or flinch, and you could leave like, hey, I got you over there, Myles Garrett. I see you jumping. You control the game. Once you feel like you control the game, it's gonna slow down for you, and things gonna come easy for you. So I do like that you brought that up, Devin. But for me, what I need to see from Caleb Williams, I need to see quick decisions. And I'm going to just keep it as simple as that. Quick decisions. I don't need to see 30-yard passes. I don't need to see 20, 25. I want to see the 3rd and 5-yard slant completed. You know what I mean? 5-yard out route. I don't want 10, 15. I just want to see hike, 5-step drop, whatever his drop is. Boom, ball out. You know what I mean? Quick passes. Because I've been hearing Caleb Williams is still not throwing the ball. He's still holding on to the ball. You know what I mean? He's not letting it go and being decisive in where he wanted to go with the ball. And we've seen that for too long. I know y'all remember those games, or you could put any quarterback back there that y'all want. 3rd and 5, the Bears, or even 3rd and 4, fucking 14. The Bears are on defense. And these quarterbacks, they come out there and they pick us apart. And I just want to see that. You know what I mean? Just give me a decisive slant with Keenan Allen in the slot because he's a vet, so he's going to know how to get leverage on whoever's guarding him. I want to see y'all on the same page. Boom, 3rd and 3. Boom, we can pass on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see from Caleb Williams. And that's going to make me feel comfortable going into week 1 that he does have control of this offense, and he has an understanding of NFL windows. You know what I mean? Like Justin didn't throw slants. He didn't throw slants. There were no quick slants. He threw some quick out routes, some 5-yard out routes, but it was too slow. It took too long. I want to see the shit that was getting done to the Bears for years and years and years by Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff for the last couple years, Kirk Cousins, you know, those type of quarterback. I want to see it from Caleb Williams too. That's all I need to see. Everything else, I believe, will fall into place. But if you can take that snap, 5-step drop, bam, you know where you're going with the ball because you saw it pre-snap. You saw the way the defense was shading. You saw that cornerback slightly playing outside on Keenan Allen, so he got leverage inside. Bam, hit him. You know what I mean? So that's all I really need to see from Caleb Williams is competent, quick game, quick, get it out. I don't want to see him holding that ball because if he hold that ball, you're going to put that offensive line, and a lot of people don't realize this. You hold that ball, you're going to put that offensive line into a bad position. You know what I mean? An average offensive line will be horrible if you hold on to that ball, but an average offensive line will be elite if you can help them out and get that ball out on time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that offensive line took a lot of heat last year. but it wasn't all on them. So that's what I need to see. Quick,
Except
quick
Braxton
decision-making.
Jones.
See, Braxton Jones, like I said, he may have performed better if Justin got the ball out faster. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Justin saved his ass multiple times. You know, you hike the ball, the fucking defender coming in your face, and and then Justin take off for 20 yards. But I do think Justin put them in a bad position sometimes. So, and it goes hand in hand. So I think we can all agree that the Bears' offensive line is average, right?
Serviceable is the word.
Serviceable. Well, like I said, average offensive lines. If you can get that ball out quick, they look good. You know, they gonna look like they're an elite unit. But if you hold on to that ball too long, it's gonna make them look bad. So that is my answer to what I need to see from Caleb Williams. Just get the ball out quick. I need to see it. Bam, 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 bam. Just like that. I don't need to see the holding on to the ball. I hope that brought up your statement you wanted to make earlier, Wes. I don't know that question.
Yeah, it was just like a lot of people was talking about all the mistakes that he was making, and a lot of the people was bringing up how he reacted to the mistakes, like you were talking about
Caleb.
Caleb, like the crossfield, this and that, and I heard one. I think it was a under center, and he was just like, they're talking about Caleb overthrew a ball. He threw that crossfield or whatever, and he got intercepted, or he threw a ball. I think it was an Everett or something that was batted down because it was a little high, something like that. And he said if you looked at the next time he threw that ball, and it wasn't Everett, it was probably Kokomet, same kind of route in the same kind of window. He placed it better that next time, or he placed it, or he just didn't throw it to that window because he realized it was shut, not as open as he thought it was. Things of that nature, and that was just my whole answer to this. What I need to see, I need to see the mistakes. I need to see you test yourself and know what not to do, know what I can't do, like, you know what I mean, or when I can do certain things, like, like you were saying. I can't hold on to the ball that long when we're on these places. Those windows close really, really fast. When we was in preseason, that window closed so fast. But if I 1-2 plant and
fired in there,
that window is a lot more open, and DJ can catch it because whoever it is, they'll get that ball. I gotta get it over those linebackers because. I threw it that one time, and TJ batted it down, right above the line because he was coming up. I need to get that ball a little bit over those linebackers, but down in front of those safeties this time. Just him, like I said, I'm going off of this characteristic that he's a student of the game, and that, sometimes you got to get the wrong answers, before the test. You got to get those answers wrong. You got to ask the teacher, like, what did I go wrong? And they can show you and, help you figure out how to get to the right answer. And I think that's what he needs to be doing in camp and in preseason, and not just, harnessing what he does well. Like I said, we know he got a good arm. We know his arm is great. But the NFL window, like I said, NFL windows is different. The NFL athletes is different. The NFL speed is different. So he needs to know how to, like we were saying about cadence, he needs to know how to mitigate that he's on the NFL stage now, and that he needs to do it in an NFL way.
Yeah.
Because you can take all those things that you did in college, and eye test, it looks the same in NFL, but you need to figure out what you got to change, and you need to be faster, slower, quicker, more decisive. Step here a little bit more, or DJ like it a little bit over here, maybe
over
like
here,
a little bit in front of him. Keenan might like it straight on his chest in the same route, and that was like what we was all saying, like doing that same route with every single receiver on that same route, on that same play, in that same window. Like, what do they like it? Because if you get so, like we said about Justin Fields, you get so used to throwing it to DJ, you throw that same pass to, and I saw that a lot with DJ versus Darnell Mooney. DJ go up and snag it down and bring it in, and so Darnell Mooney, he pump you know I'm 5'6", right? You know, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, you got to figure out what they wanted, and you got to keep knowing who you're throwing it to and how you're supposed to be throwing it to them on that certain route, and just learning all those things. And I just need him to work on a lot of that and just get all the mistakes out the way. That's what
I think he could do it. I think
he can too. I have 100% faith that he will. It's just I would rather see all of the mistakes and all that in camp and in preseason and out week 1 through 17, 18.
so. And this, I just thought about this. So, would y'all rather, when the season come, would you rather the Bears be cautious? Like, okay, be cautious and try to win games, or are you just all in on letting Caleb sling it and develop, even if it means we lose games? Or do you want to keep being cautious and try to win 12 games as opposed to letting Caleb sling it around and win 8?
My take on that actually is I feel like our defense, I was kind of mentioning it earlier in our group, mistakes that we might do, and like, so we can be a little bit more like, let's go for it and rely on our defense to kind of help our offense kind of come to things. And like, I feel like if we have the opportunity to go for a long pass, and I feel like that thing with our punter is if it's 3rd and 3 and you want to take a shot downfield instead of just picking up those 3 yards, take that shot. Like, if we can't get the 3 yards anyways, then we'd be in the same situation. And if you take that shot downfield, you might be able to pick up 20, 30, 40 yards. And in that situation, like that's what I like to do on like a 3rd and short, is go for that long pass. See what you can try and get out of it. Because a lot of people are expecting you to just go pick up the 3 yards and then get your downs reset. And if you take that unexpected, more aggressive, like, we've been too passive in both our offense and honestly a lot of times our defense. If we're ahead, we've been very passive in our play calling and stuff, and I feel like that's got to change. Like, the aggressiveness seems like the aggressive play calling seems to be what is more beneficial in the NFL these days than like timid play calling and stuff like that. Like, if you just start calling these like little small passes and stuff like that, we're not really getting very much, and it, to me, it doesn't provide as entertaining football. Right. And I don't think you win more games by doing that necessarily. I think you get into a more passive mentality, unfortunately, and then after a while, you're not going for the wide open guy that's 30, 40 yards downfield because you're so focused in on 10 yards in front of you that you're not even noticing the guy who sprinted downfield and is wide open. And you don't want to train a quarterback to be like that. You want to take the guy and you know he's got the arm, let him air it out. It's not going to connect 100% of the time, but you're going to develop him into a longer throwing quarterback. You don't want to develop him into a short slant game type of quarterback because eventually that's not going to be enough.
Wes, what you think about airing it out and winning 8 to 9 games, or playing it safe to squeak out 11, 12 games? Yes,
how can I say it? For me, it takes me back to the Justin Fields trade. And the statement was, is Justin Fields the reason we're winning games or not? And if Caleb is not the reason that we're going to be winning games, whether it's 8 or 12, then we could have not drafted Caleb and built up more portions of the team. We could have got those trench guys as you've been pounding the table about and built up that defensive line and an offensive line better. And just, could have got, Michael Penix or somebody else. If that was not the case, if we went to go get Caleb because we wanted a quarterback who's going to be winning games. Like, we're winning games because of our quarterback. Our quarterback is putting us in positions, whether it's going to what Devin said, because he decided to go for that 11-yard open receiver rather than dumping it down 2 yards and hoping that the receiver makes that extra yard and not get tackled or
make a player miss
or something like that. For me, it's not even about the play calling or what play it is or how we get it. It's, for me, is it because of Caleb? Because that was a very valuable pick. We could have cashed that ticket in and built up a lot more around this team, especially with what we got right now. Like, if we would have took, like I said, we would have took Bo Nix or somebody else, or if we just a game manager, if you will, because we wasn't relying on our quarterback to win games. We was going to rely on the weapons that we traded for, the weapons that we drafted, or the weapons that we signed for free agency, and what we built in built that lineup, got those Brandon Trices and got that J.C. Latham and, got those offensive linemen, those defensive linemen, went and still got that veteran wide receiver and signed Everett and brought back Mercedes Lewis and, Kevin Byard and all this other kind of stuff on top of that. If that's the case, then we didn't need Caleb. The plan don't sound right to me. So for me, it's, we have to hang our hat on Caleb, and that's what it is. And if it's not, if we pull back from Caleb, then we're not getting our money's worth. We're not getting our money's worth. We hindered our defensive line. We, like you said, we sacrificed the trenches for the quarterback at the end of it all. So that's how I feel. I would say if we win in 8-9 games, but Caleb is the reason we won those 8 or 9 games, and he's developing to that, then that's fine. I would rather have 8 or 9 games wild card and I know crazy sound, then 12 games and win a division and Caleb ain't been tested. Because when we get into the playoffs, it's gonna show.
You said a lot of good points in that, and I agree. I definitely agree. It's and I know this is my question. It's a lot of gray in there, because at the same time he is a rookie. You know what I mean? And it's like okay, so like, do he need to be the reason as a rookie? Like, does he have to be the guy as a rookie? Or
I'm not saying that he has to be, have 12 winning drives in the season or nothing.
Right.
But per the situation, like Devin was saying, like, are we 3rd and 3, fourth quarter, 6 minutes, we need the first down.
Put it in Caleb's hands. If he dump it down, okay, cool. If he airs it out for that, 10, 15-yard receiver, okay, cool. But I want it to be looking like, okay, Caleb saw that guy, he took that chance and threw it downfield, and I'm okay with the results. That's all I'm saying. So if that ends in 8-9 wins versus 11-12, then I'm okay with it. But if they run the ball on 3rd and 3, you see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. As far as like, okay, now you're taking it out of the generational talent. We could have, beefed up the offensive line, and went and got Saquon Barkley instead. And we could have went a whole different route, a whole different game plan if that's what we're going to keep doing. Like, shielding him is one thing because he's a rookie, but at the same time, I don't want to hear that. Like, you even said it a couple times. I get that he's a rookie, but he's not the stereotypical rookie. He didn't come out with this, like I said, he didn't come out with this Michael Penix kind of
kind of idea of, we'll see what he can and can't do. He might have to work on this or anything like. He came out as the next great quarterback hope. Like many people said, like he was beyond NFL talent already. Like he should come and light up the league. I don't know. But
So
my whole thing is like, if you don't give him a chance, then what's the point?
I would love for Caleb to throw that ball on 3rd and 3 and get the first down. I love the trenches though. Y'all know that. I love the trenches, and I would love for us to be able to just hand it off. Keep it simple. Pick up 3 yards on 3rd and 3 and let our O-line move dudes, move mountains for DeAndre Swift or Roshan Johnson. But we do have this quarterback. We do have this golden fucking egg, golden goose, whatever you want to call it. Look, if I'm gonna have to choose, I would love for Caleb Williams to be able to throw that ball on 3rd and 3. It's 3 yards, so it's like, do you really want to throw for 3 yards? It's weird, but look, if you can do it, Rodgers has done it. Brady's made a living off of it. You have to, you know what I mean? You have to take those dump offs. You have to, be able to do that in those situations, because it's 3rd and 3, short yardage. They're probably going to stack the box. It's probably going to be hard to run the ball. So I think I'm in lockstep. If I really think about it, I think I agree with y'all. And Caleb, if Caleb is balling, and I'm gonna just say balling. I don't know what that looks like or yards, but let's just say playing really good, playing pretty good. I would be okay with the 8-9 wins. Probably not 8. I need like 9, but over a run-heavy offense that leans on the defense, and we win 11 games. Oh man, that's a lot of games. I would love to win that many games too, though. Honestly, I don't care. I'm not even gonna lie. With this scenario that I brought up, I'm 50-50. I'm either way. Win the 11 to 12 games with run heavy in defense, and if you win 8 to 9 games with Caleb throwing for 4,000, I'm cool with it too. That's my take on it. I mean, it's kind of a cop out, and I probably should pick a side. But I love the trenches. Y'all know that. I love being able to move mountains and run the ball. Like, I love that.
Hey,
And
Rob Parker actually do your butt hurt because you're sitting on that fence.
huh?
I said Rob Parker would be like, does your butt hurt? Because you're sitting on that fence kind of hard.
You
man.
be listening to Rob Parker. Huh? I do not like that dude. I would never listen to him.
I like Chris Bouchard though, so.
Chris cool. Chris,
I like
Chris, he's
cool.
very conservative in his takes.
He cool. I like him. He cool. But yeah. But honestly, as a Bears fan, of course I would want the 12 win, no matter how it looks. I mean, but given how we are building this team, it would make us. All those questions would still come about. Like, oh well, then why did they build the team this way? If they was gonna scrap the whole concept of what they were doing. They got 3 amazing wide receivers, and now they don't even want to throw the ball. They got a generous quarterback. They got these catching tight ends, and now, they could, like I said, should have just went and got a Saquon Barkley then if you wanted to really be a run-heavy team,
Mm-hmm.
But we could have fired Eberflus and went and got Harbaugh, if you want to be a run-heavy team. Like, my whole thing is...
That's a very valid point.
Like I said, if that's what we were going to build ourselves to be, like, let's be the team that we're building up, and let's just go that route and go with the game plan. And if that ends us in 9-8, okay, 1-2 games. Like I said before, some of those games are going to be close. If we're competent and competitive, we still going to have some close games. We might lose on a 60-yard field goal because they just decided to kick and just go for it, and the wind blew their way.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one of those games. That could, so I just think, like Warner was saying, like, just being the best Bears team that they put together, to me seems like we're throwing the ball on 3rd and 3, and then maybe we go for it on 4th and 3. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But I think we should give Caleb those things. Give him that experience. Like, he's a rookie. This is, like I said, at the end of the season, he's still gonna be his rookie season. So anything that happens ups and downs, we can be like, well, that was his rookie season. He gets 2 more years to prove himself.
Yeah. Look, I agree. I'm really still 50-50. I can't get off this fence. I can't because I just can't. 'Cause 11, 12 games, it just sounds too good. But
Exactly. I mean, like I said, as a fan, of course, I don't care how they get 12 wins and win a division.
just go get it, huh?
I live off talking trash after Sunday wins anyway, so of course I want 11, 12 wins. I don't want 3 less Mondays of me or Tuesdays of me like,
Right.
well, we'll get them next week. I don't want to hear that. But as far as looking at how this Bears team did, how we built this team,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It just makes sense. If we wanted to go the other route, we had the best position and probably in the Indian draft, probably in history, to build out a run-heavy team with a draft and a offseason that we could have did that.
Yeah, and it's 2024. Although teams have been running the ball a lot more lately, but it's 2024 and it's still a passing league. It ain't went back to the old days yet. So you need a quarterback that can throw the ball. I mean, it's that simple, and I hope we got one. Y'all got anything else y'all want to speak on with OTAs and regarding the Bears players, personnel, anything before we jump into the stadium? Quick.
If you want to, we could chime in on the 2 new additions. I mean, I guess Mercedes Lewis would be a re-addition.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Before we do that, did y'all see that report that came out that said the Bears offered the 4th round pick to move up to 8 and the Falcons declined it? Did y'all see that?
I did. I just saw that earlier today, and that was crazy.
That's crazy, ain't it? I honestly, it's in my notes, but I don't know how I scrolled over. Even in our pre-show meeting, I scroll right over it. But hell yeah, the Bears. So remember in that 1920 drive, they made it seem like Ryan Poles was patient. Kevin Warren was like, hey, I know it was hard to be patient there, but hey, we got our guy. Hell no, he wasn't patient. He tried to move up to 8 and give up. I don't know, Devin, and you might know. I don't know, but I don't know if it was this year's 4th round pick that we ended up using
next year's 4th. I saw somebody say that
year's 4th.
Basically, what we traded to get Austin Booker was what we were willing to give up to go get Rome Odunze, and I'm much happier at the fact that we got Austin Booker, who I don't know if you guys have heard. He already comments how much he hates the Packers, and he's barely been a Bear for like only about a month now, and he's already saying like how much he doesn't like the Packers. And I'd much rather have a player that's in development that maybe like next year will be pretty solid for us than to have a player or to give a potential just to move up one spot to get Rome Odunze. The draft was too stacked. I just can't see them legitimate. They did.
I was right.
They wanted that kid.
I was right. I was also right. They was trying to go up to 8 to get Rome Odunze. They wanted to. They thought he was finna go. And like I said, the Falcons. That's why when the Falcons picked Penix, you saw. I was gonna call him Ryan Poles. You saw Ryan Poles when he was like Penix. They took Penix. Oh, okay, good. Lucky me. He felt like he was relieved. He was relieved. Then he told everybody, sit down, calm down. Because, that's my boy. We talk on Sundays and stuff.
Who? Poles?
Me and Poles, we
Tell him to stop chewing that gum like that then, because he was chewing the fuck out that gum.
I get it. It's better than biting your nails like LeBron be doing. But, yeah, man, that just tells you how much they wanted that dude, man.
does LeBron bite his nails too much, Wes?
Oh man, this is like articles on it. It's like
Y'all are crazy.
I'm telling you, it's like at least I read like 7 articles over the years about when LeBron, and it was just I think it was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. I think it was Brandon Knight or somebody else. Like, yeah, man, you could tell when LeBron get frustrated and stuff. He started biting his nails, and it was like this whole thing. I'm gonna find it and send it to you for your entertainment.
People will find anything about Brian to just
Man,
to say
just
something
funny.
about him.
It was just funny. And the thing was, it was like they were saying that he bite his nails when it's not going his way. You can tell like when LeBron is like, okay, cool, I'll get him next time, because he'll just stop biting his nails and just, well, all right, whatever.
He must not do it too often. It go his way a lot. Things go his way a whole lot. But look, let's not do the LeBron thing right now.
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah. Austin Booker. You mentioned Austin Booker though. So at the Senior Bowl, the Packers number 1 overall pick, and there were clips going around social media of this. Jordan Morgan, that offensive lineman, Austin Booker was going up against him, and he was fucking him up. Like, he was dominating Jordan Morgan. And in that Senior Bowl, what I think it was 1-on-ones or whatever. But that, like you said, he hate the Packers, so I just remembered that when you said that.
That's a big dude, man.
Damn, I forgot what time. This fourth round pick.
Trading for one pick.
Wes, I will give you a little credit on that one. A slightly like this much right here, because like we've already said, like Rome Odunze was the most talked about player going at 9 for the Bears. It was kind of like everybody, even they knew it. That's why Caleb and Rome and DJ and Keenan or whoever was there was throwing before the draft even came. They kind of knew it. It was written. I was hoping that you and everybody else was slightly wrong, but
no, because they were saying that they was gonna go defensive linemen. A lot of people saying they should go defensive linemen. Everybody was saying that Montez needed that help, especially after they traded for Keenan Allen. They was like, why would you go get a third receiver? Like, it is a third number 1. Pretty much is what they were saying that was going to be. And everybody was saying, like, dude, they're going to pick a defensive edge. They was thinking, everybody was going leaning towards, and
I wouldn't say everybody. I just think the word on the street was Rome. Those who didn't want Rome, we had arguments for not taking Rome. We had arguments for taking a D lineman or offensive lineman. But the consensus was Rome the entire way, you know?
No, I don't. I'm telling you, people was hoping that Neighbors fell. People was down.
Hoping and wishing.
Yeah, hoping that he came down. People was just, and they was bringing up the fact that who else? What was that other guy? Because they was doing this. I remember they was doing this LSU Huskies kind of comparison of Jaden Daniels and then Penix and Neighbors and Dunze and Thomas and what's the other one? I can't think of his name because I brought him up, the number 2 receiver for Washington that went to no, he didn't go to the Jaguars. I think Thomas went to the Jaguars. Can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But they were showing how much better he was, like if he could have been their number 1 receiver instead of, Dunze, just like Thomas could have been the number 1 receiver instead of Neighbors, and they still put up great numbers and all this other kind of stuff. And
I was gonna try to find who the receiver he was thinking about, but forget it. Yeah, look. If I was gonna bet, I would have bet Rome Odunze, but if I was gonna have my choice, I wasn't taking Rome Odunze. I think we on record with that. But that's just crazy to me that Ryan Poles offered that 4th round pick any fucking way. And it's even more crazy that the Falcons declined it. Like, what the fuck? Who did y'all think we was moving up to take? Y'all think we was moving up to take Michael Penix? We already had Caleb at number 1. Why would we move from 8 to 9 and take your quarterback? You could have got a 4th round pick and went to 9 and still got Michael Penix. it's crazy they declined that pick. That
Because
trade.
Ryan Pace was butthurt. That's why he did what he did at when he took
The one question I have on that
Brandon
though is like it
Trask.
kind of depends on when it was offered. Like if that pick was if that like trade was offered like right before Atlanta picked, then it would seem dumb as shit. But if it was offered like a month or so before the draft and they said no, then it would be a different story because they weren't sure who was, and so maybe they felt like that if Michael Penix wasn't there, they might have been going after like Roma Junze. So that's the only caveat that I have to that like little thing. Like it depends on when it was offered. Like you said, if it was offered like on draft day, then absolutely you take that pick, say thank you very much because you're right. We are not picking another quarterback. We're not going to be as stupid as the Falcons and pick a quarterback when we already have our starting quarterback.
Yeah, but we didn't trade away the number one pick either. So it's like, what do you thought we were gonna do? If it was a month before, for the day before, it's like, okay, now the Bears have the 1 and 8 pick instead of the 1 and 9. It's like I could see if they, was like, well, maybe they was trying to think ahead and was like, okay, if we get them the 8th pick, after they get that 8th pick, they're gonna trade away, trade down to the 4th pick and get Marvin Harrison Jr. and then get Michael Penix Jr. Maybe that's what Ryan Pace and them down there in Atlanta was thinking. Maybe I don't know.
This information came from Roku channels. They got their whole little series called NFL Draft. This season 2, and it's 4 teams featured on it. It's the Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders, Arizona Cardinals, and the Los Angeles Rams. The Falcons got on it because of this trade, which I think I'm gonna watch that NFL Draft thing because I guess they look into the Bears. But what they saying is Atlanta. This is what they're saying. Atlanta was probably afraid the Bears would flip the pick to a team that was still Penix away from them. But Chicago was all in on Rome or Doomsday. So, and it's even worse now that we know that Atlanta lost the 5th round pick. You know what I mean? Because of the whole tampering shit, which I thought it would be a higher pick.
I was shocked that it was a 5th when I feel like other teams got way worse penalties before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Atlanta players. They tampered with Al Mooney and Kirk Cousins from what I was reading. So people were saying like, oh yeah, that should mean something coming for the Bears and something coming for the Vikings, but they lost a 5th round pick, which don't even really mean too much. And it's like, oh geez, come on.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. I mean, I would have took that deal. They really wanted Penix. It just shows how much they wanted Penix, like we really wanted the Doomsday though. So can you blame them? I mean, your guys there, you got to have conviction to do what you got to do to get them.
I don't know. Wherever Ryan Pace is, I just feel it's shady.
Pace brought in some dogs on that defensive side.
Yeah. I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. But Jalen Pope was the other dude from Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, he went over there to New England. But yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. Mercedes Lewis coming back to the Chicago Bears. I like the move. I liked it last year. Even I don't like taking any Packers players, but Mercedes Lewis, I like getting him in the room, even if he not going, catch too many passes. I love the leadership. I'll take the leadership and the fucking blocking. The dude, I think he had like these numbers are not accurate, but they're close to being accurate. It's like about 40 to 50 block attempts, and he didn't give up 1 sack last year. So we all know Shane Waldron liked to use 12 personnel, 13 personnel. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends, or running back and 3 tight one running back and 3 tight ends. Everett Komet and Lewis, Mercedes Lewis. If you're gonna go 13 personnel, he's gonna block. He's going to be an extra blocker. He's gonna help out either the left tackle Braxton Jones, or he's gonna help out the right tackle. I can't think of his name. Who's our right tackle? I forgot. What the fuck? Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright.
I don't know why I keep forgetting his name, but Mercedes Lewis gonna either help out one or those two when we go 13 personnel. He might even be in on 12 personnel. They might even sit Gerald Everett, for that, and just let Cole Kmet go out for a pass or whatever. So I love the move. I'm not mad at it at all. What y'all think about the Mercedes Lewis signing?
Depth.
I loved it.
It's depth and accountability. Like, we can go back. We could talk about what's Tunyon all day long. It's like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, depth and reliability, man. That's what that's what I like. I could say with our tight ends, like, it's depth and the reliability. And like I said, what you said, Mark, it's that caveat of an extra blocker for a line that is questionable. Serviceable, like I said. Now you're adding 6 blockers out there, and that gives Caleb that time with those. And then, like you said, that make Cole Kmet more of that receiving tight end.
Yes, sir.
Than blocking. He don't have to do 2 jobs all the time and figure out. He don't have to do that every time. And it brings that confusion to the defense.
Yep.
Like, man. Okay, is Cole Kmet blocking this time, or is he gonna go out for a route, or even like a shade block or a chip block, or
chip block,
and then go out there and set and get that third and 3 that you was talking about, Devin. Like, like it brings that diver. Like I said, it has those defensive coordinators at home, like you said about that quarterback. I don't know which quarterback you're talking about, but them defensive coordinators gonna be at home with their wife and kids, having them line up. Like, let me see how this look up. Like, I want them up at night with their whole family trying to figure out how they gonna beat. How they gonna beat this Bears. I want them to have a whiteboard in the garage, just running scenarios until they can't run scenarios. So they just so confused that we walk all over them, and I like it. I like it. Instead of bringing in something,
we have who was our third tight end before that? It's like Carlson, Daniel Carlson or Phil Carlson. It's something Carlson. I heard his name because they said he caught a couple touchdowns in OTAs. So I'm like, damn, Caleb's spreading the ball around. But yeah, like, whoever Carlson is, no, I'd rather have Lewis.
Definitely rather have Mercedes Lewis, especially like you said. And I was gonna say it anyway, but that's that blocking tight end. Like, we seen Everett, and we know he's that catcher guy, but he can do both. But it's kind of the same as Cole Kmet. Now we got that guy that we know, like, hey, look, you ain't getting around him. And with we talk about Karan and some of these younger guys out there with that little extra support, that little extra that tight end who's been next to the line a lot, and he can go to him too. Just like, hey, look, your stances, you got to get lower. You got to get up. You're not popping up fast. I'm getting up before you off this ball. You need to be getting up. Whatever little things that a veteran can do to help a young football player. That's another thing we go way back to when we first started this offseason. We were saying, like, that attitude and that culture we want to build at Hallis Hall. Like, that's how you build it.
That's exactly. Devin, what you think about Mercedes Lewis coming back?
I like it. I mean, I liked him last year. Like, when we picked him up, I was like, okay, well, he's not necessarily going to be the guy that's catching everything, but he's a good alternative to have out there to really, like, get more, like, protection for the court. He's been doing it for a long time. Like, you want to know how a player lasts as long in the league as he does? You have him on your team. You show these young players what he's been doing that has helped him have a sustainable, long career. And imagine how long we could potentially have some of these, like, some of our defensive players, some of our offensive players. Like, imagine them learning how to potentially extend their career from him. And we go ahead and we have somebody like, it's like decades. Having somebody that is played for a long time, kind of be able to really tell you how to like last in this sport. Like, went all in early on in their career and just didn't treat their body the way they needed to keep it lasting long and healthy. And eventually they're like, yeah, I just can't do this very much longer. So they retired. But like, he's been a blocking tight end for a long time. So that means it's not like he's like not absorbing hits and stuff like that. Like, it's been most of his career. So he still has been there's a lot to that. So I think that it's a very good signing, and just some more veteran leadership to bring back into the like team and to help people kind of like adjust and stuff like that. I think it'd be a great thing.
Yeah, he like you said, he's a vet, and he transformed his body, he transformed his game to keep playing. You know what I mean? He transformed himself so he could keep doing what he loved to do, and that takes. I think when players do that, like they change the whole game up and they change their whole build to fit into a new scheme they're coming into, or whatever, a new team they're coming into. I think that's dope. So and it take a lot of discipline to literally switch what you know. He was a pass catching. The dude was a dog. Mercedes Lewis was good as fuck when he was young. You know, he catching, you know. So he transformed himself and to stay relevant, and it's working.
I think he did have a touchdown last year too.
He did. He definitely got.
I kind of remember like they were talking about it, like, oh yeah, it's his first one of the year, and this is his 18th season. I was thinking like, damn.
Yeah, I think he's like the oldest player to catch a touchdown. I think he has played the most games out of all tight ends in NFL history. So the dude got some accolades under his belt. DeAndre Carter, is that his name?
Yeah, DeAndre Carter.
DeAndre Carter, what you got on him, Wes?
Like return specialist, man. Obviously his stats. Let's see what he did with the Raiders.
Where'd he come from?
Came from Las Vegas. He was last.
He's a Raider.
He was a Raider. He was a Bear in 2020 for a little short stint.
Oh, what was he on? What is he on? Practice? No, he was on the roster, wasn't he?
He played 4 games.
He was on the main roster.
Yeah, he played 4 games. Didn't catch anything, but he was mainly special teams for us. Let me just go back to what I was just looking at. For what he did for the played 4 games. He had 4 punt returns for us, total 30 yards, but no kickoff returns for us when he played for us. Now his best season, because he's a returner, as far as punts go, 29 punts for 339 yards, only 17 fair catches. Kick returns though was 2021. He was with the Commanders now. I guess they was 5-2 the Commanders. Well, the Redskins then. Out of 36 return attempts, 904 yards.
So I think, and we gonna see this a lot, and this is probably why Velus Jones is going to remain. He's going to make this team. A lot of Bears fans don't want Velus Jones to make this team, but this Carter pickup is probably. Teams are going after these return specialists more now because of the kickoff rule. Velus Jones, he got a lifeline now because of the kickoff rules. And don't get me, I think Velus Jones was pretty good at kick return. Now punt return, that's a different thing. He couldn't catch the fucking punt, but kick return, I think that's the because of the kickoff rules. I think the Bears gonna try different everything, like to the blockers, body types, faster guys, bigger guys. Return men, they're gonna try Velus out. They're gonna try Carter back there. They might bring in another dude to try back there. It's gonna be a lot of change coming when it comes to specialists, return specialists for every team. So I think that's what motivated them to sign Carter, because like I told y'all before in the pre-show meeting, we had Trent Taylor last year. He wasn't really anything but a return specialist, and he didn't even really return it. He just was able to catch it. We just needed a guy that could catch the ball. You know what I mean? Because Bayless couldn't fucking catch the ball.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about just having a roster spot for people like that. That's just gonna field the punts or field the kicks. So we'll see. We will see.
I mean, if they, like I said, if he gonna, I mean, they should be returning the balls. It should be, like I said, the whole point of it is to minimize the fair catches, to actually have, you know, those kickoffs return, you know, those punts returns, have these special teams matter. Because if that's the case, then we could just down it at the, you know, the 15 to 20 every series, and then just let them go from there.
And go from there.
You know what I mean? Because there's no point in having that. We can cut the roster down real fast. Or we can use those to create depth in other positions on offense and defense, where, you know, increase the longevity and players and whatnot. So
yeah,
I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for Velus Jones, in the sense of that this guy is really good. He's a really good returner, and if Velus Jones can't match, like I said, Velus Jones for me is on the hot seat, because now you got receivers out there, and the Dunze, the Keenan Allen, the DJ Morris, and Tyler Scott is still on, you know, in your peer group, is on your heels. Who's going to kind of give contrast to, well, we could just use this guy then if you're not going to be better. You know what I mean? If you're not going to catch punts, if you're going to keep muffing punts, or you're not going to hold on to the ball, you're not going to, you know what I'm saying, return, you're just going to fair catch because you think that, you know, that's what we're used to. And like I said about this Bears team, like, we don't want no, this is what we used to kind of Bears team. Like, we don't want to be used to what happened in the past. So that's the same thing with Velus Jones. We're not taking that, you know, oh, well, at least, like you said, well, punting, he sucked, but he was all right fair catching, mainly. You know, he returned some of them, but he really wasn't going to. But compared to who? The Taylor dude, who was just as bad. So if you got one guy who every time he returns a ball, he goes 20, 21, 22 plus yards, and you fair catching, or you know, 17, 15 yards, and then on top of that, you got Tyler Scott actually catching passes, doing stuff, Velus Jones Jr. will be out of a job halfway through the season.
Yeah. So Velus, I do think he was one of the better kick return with the old rules, not this old rule. I think he was one of the better kick returners in the league last year. Velus was. Look, I don't think Velus going nowhere. I don't think he's leaving. Getting cut from this team. But as we get closer, as we get into training camp and we start looking at the people that's on the roster bubble, we'll all realize how important a roster spot is, because once you start thinking about it, like, okay, the Bears are going to keep 7 wide receivers, 4 running backs, 6 linebackers. That 53's man roster going to fill up pretty quick, and you're going to start looking like, okay, do we need Velus, Carter, and even Cuzzo, even Pettis? That's another guy when you start thinking about it, because, I mean, we let's just talk about receivers real quick. You have Rome, DJ, Keenan, Scott, now Pettis, Velus, and Carter. Did I miss anybody?
I mean, that signed. I think those are the ones that's, well, more than likely going to be signed, or that's already signed, like a 1-year deal or something like that. Undrafted guys, I mean, that we invited, I doubt if any of them probably will make the roster. But if you look at it, total, there's also, we got probably like, we got the USC guy, the best friend. He's the wide receiver.
John Jackson.
John,
yeah,
the best friend. I think somebody, I want to say a dude from Howard. It was another wide receiver, I think, that we invited to undrafted. But yeah, you're looking at 8 to 10 wide receivers out there.
And there's no way they're keeping that.
There's no way we're not going to keep all those guys.
So it might come down to who's better at the special teams. You know, like kind of with our running back room, we're going to take Swift, Roschon, and Herbert. But then we also got Ian Wheeler, Travis Homer still here.
Homer's still there.
It's going to come. We're not going to keep all of those guys. who's gonna play. They love Travis Homer on special teams. They love how that's why he's been here, and he hasn't really got any carries ever.
Right.
So it's gonna get real interesting when we actually dive into this roster, 53 man.
And that's why I keep saying, like, a lot of these guys, are, other than like the obvious cats,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these guys is gonna be like I said, Velus Jones is one of those guys that is so close to the outskirts.
Mm-hmm.
He finna be moving to Joliet pretty soon. He finna be outside the Chicago limit.
If they didn't change the kickoff rules, his fate was all surely sealed. That's what I think. I think the kickoff rules helping him because it's unknown, and you know what I mean. Velus is really fast. Like you can see it. He got speed. He's probably our fastest player. I don't know him and Scott. They probably battle for that, but
but it's one or the other.
It's
It looks like it's one or the other because we're gonna get somebody that can do the job. That's why we got Carter.
sir.
We got somebody who can do the job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying that you can't back them up or be in front of them. We're not, but some like at all positions. Like we even talked about Bajan and the second and the other person. Like Austin Reed, you never know. His arm is
ripen.
You never know if they throwing them 30, 35 yard balls that look way better than Bajan's and he only can get it 24, 25.
Oh man, I can't wait to break down. I can't wait till we get into the roster bubbles because that's like remember Travis Gibson. Y'all remember Travis Gibson, right? He was one of those players and he eventually got cut last year, and it shocked a lot of people. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting jumping into the roster bubble. DeAndre Carter. Y'all got anything else y'all want to touch on with him? And
I just like to pick up. I like putting pressure on people. He's gonna be better or you be gone.
Yes, sir. Pressure burst pipes, and it also make diamonds.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to bring back what's his name?
Who?
The defensive lineman that came off injury. Say he ready. What's his name? Yannick.
Oh yeah, that's almost a foregone conclusion. I think he'll be back.
I think he'll be back. I think they already called him, let him know, because he put out there that he was ready and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I read somewhere where they asked about him, and one of the staff members or the press, they asked Eberflus, and he was like, "Yeah, we know," like kind of like a yeah. I text him. He good, and I think he's somebody that they can, like I said, bring in and put that pressure, put some pressure on some of these guys.
And the thing with Yannick, before last year, he broke his toe. I think he had 4 sacks for his last year. Before that, I think his previous 5 seasons, he had 8 sacks in all of them. So I think he got something left in the tank. It's a toe. Heal it up. It's gonna come back stronger than it was. Or was it his ankle? It was one of the two.
It was a foot injury.
Something with his, yeah.
Which I'm okay with that rather than a pectoral, abdomen, upper leg, something like that. That's something that it's hard to repair. A toe, cut it off.
It'll heal and it'll be stronger than it was before you broke it.
So I think.
We got about 10 minutes left. 8 minutes.
We got a good 8 minutes left.
Let's jump into this stadium talk real quick because this,
fiasco.
like I said, when you brought this to my attention, this is my first time hearing about it, and I just thought it was interesting. Kevin Warren had a press conference at the Lincoln. Where was he? I forgot what he was at, but he was talking with some people that was not with the Bears organization, and he had a press conference, and they were talking about his stadium plans and how he wants the city to fund this stadium. And the Bears, not the Bears, but Chicago just passed their spring legislation, which did not have the Bears in their budget. I think it was like a $58 billion budget. The Bears stadium plans or none of that shit was in it. And Kevin Warren is still politicking to get that stadium on the lakefront. Well, the first time I'm hearing about this, people are saying the Bears should probably sell some stake in the team to help fund the stadium. This is what Kevin Warren had to say on that.
Private equity, institutional money to get involved by pieces of sports football teams. It hasn't happened in the NFL. It's happened in a number of the other sports. And just here locally, when the Cubs went through their $375 million renovation of Wrigley Field, the Ricketts family actually sold off 10% of the Cubs to 6 individual investors. Would the McCaskey family consider something like that?
I mean, that's something that we have not talked about. That's something that is not on the table at this point in time. It's just not, and I don't ever visualizing that becoming part of the discussion. We don't think is necessary to do. And again, back to the fact that they've committed to $2 billion of assets to invest in the stadium. The proposed stadium in the city would be owned by, wouldn't even be owned by us. So some people have even come to me and say, Kevin, what's the trick question? We know you're an astute business person. Why would you put in $2 billion and not own it? And my response has been because it's the right thing to do. Because I think as stronger Chicago becomes, the stronger the state becomes, and the stronger the NFL becomes. So it's the right thing.
So, Wes, could you hear that?
Left ear only.
I was just about to put that in. Like, there you go. I was just about to put that in the chat because ever since that one day when I couldn't hear my own shit, and I've been using my left earbud. But
it's, I don't know what it is, man. Y'all like it.
Yeah, my speaker on my laptop, the left one is blown out. So unfortunately, I couldn't hear anything at all from that.
So I'll summarize it for you. The question basically was, would the McCaskey family be open to selling a percentage of stake in the team to help fund this, the stadium on the lakefront? And he mentioned, before he let Kevin Warren answer, he mentioned that the Cubs did this when they renovated Wrigley Field. They ended up selling 10% stake to 6 different investors to help fund, like, it was $300 million in renovations for Wrigley Field. And he asked Kevin Warren, would the McCaskey family be okay with doing something like that? And Kevin Warren shot it down. I mean, he basically said, no, we haven't had, exactly. We ain't had those talks. I don't plan on having those talks. And I actually cut it off too quick, Wes. He also said I don't think we'll ever have those talks at the end. Like, there's basically no chance of the Bears selling stake in the team to fund the lakefront stadium. I think we talked about this briefly, and I said it's a lot of heads in that kitchen. It's a lot of. This is a mom and pop shop we running. This ain't oil firm money, and they bought the stadium. I mean, they bought the team with oil money or Walmart money, like the Broncos or whatever the fuck. They got their money from the Bears, and there's 13 to 15 children involved. They each got a percentage of this team. And me personally, I think it's doable. I think if they could come up with some way, some agreement where they can pull this off, where each child that got a stake in the team can, give up a little percentage to get this done, I think that would be great. I just think when you got that many people involved, somebody's going to be selfish, and it ain't going to work out.
Honestly, like I said, you're right. That's just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if we didn't see the video, the projection of what this stadium would look like, what that lakefront would look like, what the amenities could be, you could always, it's like restructuring a player's contract. You can always, hey, look, so to compensate for what you're going to sell to get this built, we will allow, hey, Junior McCaskey, you like Etsy and making sweaters and earrings and all this kind of stuff. We'll put a nice little boutique on the lakefront where you can sell your little Etsy stuff. You and your wife, you know what I mean? You could own something like that, and you can sell to all the Bears fans. You can do Bears themed stuff, and who wouldn't want to buy some Bears earrings made by a bunch of little McCaskey grandkids or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like something like that. For me, it's just so selfish in the sense of you wouldn't be the Bears without Chicago. Yes, you put a football team here, which technically left to Arizona, I think. Historically, I think. Technically. right?
Technically.
So I don't see the thing that bothers me the most is the never, impossible, not gonna ever happen.
You heard him? Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, never gonna didn't even bring it to the table, wouldn't even suggest it. First of all, Kevin Warner ain't even your team. You know, you're an employee, first of all. And second of all, why not? Why not bring it to him? To like I said, you're gonna get, and then he started to say, well, we won't even own the stadium. Then put that in there. We'll give 10% of the team, 50% of the team to get 15% of owning rights to the stadium.
Yeah, the stadium will still be owned by the city of Chicago.
That's like hey, look, we can get it built. You give us, we'll sell off 10% of the team. You give us 10% of this. Give us give Uncle Earl a seat on the boards of sports commerce for the parks or something. Like, I mean, we all watch how politics work, and there's other ways to compensate and indulge people. And whoever has the biggest attitude or whoever feels the most upset, what would you like? What would you want that's agreeable to do something that, just like you did with the Chicago Bears team, you created something that is Chicago.
Yep.
Why not do it again? Why not do a 2024 version? Because the version you talk about is 100 years old almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't get why it's not even possibly being proposed, but I do. Because the proposal for them to sell some of the teams, if it got out, the package that they get, just like we were just talking about the Falcons and that 4th round pick, you're like, man, I wouldn't take it. You know what I mean? If they put out a decent proposal and the fans see this and they're like, so we don't get a lavish luxury thing, not only for football games, but for, you know, concerts and events, and for when I invite my family in, or I fly to Chicago and I'm like, hey, Mark Dev, come on down. We're going to hang out downtown. Everything's on me. I got us. Woo up the band. We got, you know what I'm saying? Go up to the stadium, walk the walk, go to have a Hall of Fame walk leading up to Walter Payton, or, you know, like this crazy Bears experience on the Lake of Chicago. Like, I don't understand, but y'all will build a beam in the middle of the park, and this ain't even Boston. You see what I'm saying? Like, it just don't add up to me, and it just makes me angry the way he shot it at him.
The way he shot it down.
Instead of saying, like, yeah, I understand that the Cubs did that before and that teams have done this. We haven't talked about it yet. Maybe we'll bring it to the table and see what happened. And then he could have went back and said, hey, whatever happened to that, I took it to the McCaskies, and they said, nope, leave it on them. Now it sounds like you too scared to even ask them.
Devin, thoughts? I know you couldn't hear it, but I mean, you got any thoughts on the conversation?
Honestly,
you couldn't hear the audio.
Like, I kind of understand their perspective. Like, it may have been something that when he was hired on, he was told flat out, like, that is not a possibility. So that could be why he's shooting it down. Because, like, if it McCaskey family has ever considered doing, I feel like at some point throughout history, at some point they would have sold off a part of it if it was ever something they were willing to do. But, like, I feel like they have never, I mean, like, there have been fans calling for them to change ownership, sell the team. Probably the past, like, and they don't. Like, they are a family that gained their wealth through the football team they built. So it's like, I don't know. For me, the big thing is, like, the way he shot it down based on what you guys are saying, it's well beforehand that is not a possibility. So I don't necessarily know if he's over there making that decision of, like, I wouldn't even bring it to them. I imagine it's more that, like, they've probably kind of instilled in him that this is what they want. And what they want is to have this stadium. They don't want to lose control or lose any part of the team that they have built in order to get this stadium done. Like,
so
and somebody wants to help me build something.
So I got a question for y'all then, and then we can get up out of here because we definitely pushing it. Would y'all rather McCaskey family come up off the ownership of the team, or would you rather the governor add that into the Chicago taxpayers' taxes? That's what's going on. It's either because the governor said no, we're not. The city of Chicago isn't, or the mayor. No, it was the governor. He said the city of Chicago ain't paying for that stadium. That's not happening. So would you rather it be that way, or McCaskey family come up off some of that equity?
I mean, initially, I think it definitely should have come from the state. To be honest, if you think about what the Chicago Bears brings to the state of Illinois, outside of the state of Illinois, don't nobody even know the state of Illinois exists. Half the people can't pronounce the word right. They know what Chicago is. They know about the Chicago Bears. They know this team for that. Just like when you ask anybody outside of Chicago about basketball, the first thing they say is Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like these kind of things. And my whole thing is you're bringing in. And especially if they're not even gonna own it, it's still gonna be owned by the city and the state and all that kind of stuff. This is a chance for you to sell more iHeart New York T-shirts that's been the same since I don't know the Titanic crashed. I don't know, but it's that staple that you can build. And that's why I brought up that bean too. It's like that staple you can bring in where you can come down and you can have this great walk of Chicago on the lakefront, which is a staple in Chicago. I got friends out here that's born from Arizona and everything who go to Chicago, who's been just on their own vacation, or somebody took them one time and they did the summer yacht thing where you go out on the Chicago Spirit, or you go to Navy Pier and all these kind of things and all that. And you're just going to bring way more. Like I said, I don't even think it's the money. I think it's just this political thing. Like the governor wants to be relevant for some reason because he's not the mayor of Chicago. He's the governor of some state that people really don't know about.
Illinois, huh?
Yeah, and the McCaskey's like, well, we built this team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we built this team. This is a staple in the city of Chicago. It's fans in almost all 50 states. Like, we pack out away games just as much as we can do home games. And we have the most Hall of Famers and, in the Hall of Fame. Like, this all came from this team that people will associate the city of Chicago with. And you don't want to make it better. You don't want to. It's like the old man who don't want to get an iPhone because he don't like technology. You know what I'm saying? That's how it got that feel. Like, dude, you got to eventually, and before it's too late. Before you get to a point where some other developer or somebody else come and be like, oh, y'all willing to give up that land to a football team? How about I come in and I build something just as great and something that's better that has nothing to do with the Bears, then you lose it for real and never be able to get it back.
Right. I agree with you. I think I mean, you know where I stand on the stadium in general. Let's go to Arlington. We bought the land. Let's build Bears land, Bearslandia in Arlington or whatever. But
Mark on roller coasters and water slides.
Roller coaster that's gonna take me straight to my seat, some shit like that. We kind of going over time right now. Anything else with the stadium y'all want to add to that? I'm glad we got that out there because that's crazy. Asking the McCaskey family to give up stake in the team. That's some. You got some balls to ask them that.
As a reporter, yeah.
I don't think so.
Just because they're mom and pop. This ain't a corporation. And
you know what happens to mom and pops when it comes to corporations? Eventually, somebody gonna come and they gonna get crushed. And my whole thing is, But build up. You got to get bigger. You got to get better. And that's something that, I mean, this organization as a whole, including the ownership, has been, you know, the kings of, or the leaders in not wanting to recognize that things change.
Yep.
And everything is changing, and we need to do things different. Like with this, like I said, even with the football team now we're starting to do things different. This is going to be a entirely new, different team. You're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to get with the times eventually, or you live off the grid. And eventually, like I said, somebody gonna do it, and somebody gonna take it. And like I said,
I think there will be a new stadium, right? We can all agree on that. The Bears have one of the smallest stadiums in the league. There will be a new stadium. It's just where. That's what it sounds like. There's no way the Bears can continue playing in that little ass stadium.
So what happens when Soldier Field say, okay, well, that's cool. We're just gonna broadcast Bears games in the stadium.
Host watch parties.
Host watch parties every Sunday.
What's happening?
Yeah, what is it?
They
can host watch parties on away games.
Yeah, they could. They should. I think they should. I'm just saying, if I'm the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois, and y'all gonna leave and go over here, and all right, cool. I'll take some of your fans.
You're not taking fans by hosting watch parties.
You not.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you.
If
I'm telling you, hosting watch.
You don't think people gonna drive to Arlington Heights? They're gonna go to Arlington Heights.
I'm not saying that they still not gonna go to Arlington Heights, but certain people want to sit in certain spots. Certain people want to be in certain places. Certain people want to go convenience. Convenience.
Ain't nobody watching a watch party in a domeless Soldier Field in fucking the snow. It ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Fans
one.
is crazy.
I think you reaching. You think you reaching?
No, fans is crazy. I'm just saying what I would do. I mean, it's something that I would do.
You'd go to the watch party?
It's something I would do. If I was like looking up, I'm flying in. Oh man, I'm gonna be at home this weekend. Oh, I'm looking at tickets instead of driving all the way to Arlington to sit all the way at the top, always somewhere else. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's a blizzard, if I'm not those games, of course not. But before the snow falls and when the snow starts to melt, those earlier games, those later games, those playoff games.
I mean, I think you're also looking at it as a Chicago native, but that's not the only people that are Chicago Bear fans. Like, they're a fan. I mean, for me, Arlington Heights is closer than Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I live north enough where it's closer to me anyway. But
my point is, we still gonna make money utilizing the Bears at Soldier Field. So if you think you leaving and you're gonna take your rent money and leave, okay, we'll compensate. We'll make half of it back at least. I'm not saying half. I'm just throwing a number out there.
I mean, even if they do, I don't see that as a bad thing. Yeah, like I don't see that as a take that. Like, it's okay. You guys do what you got to do to make money. I mean, I don't think the Bears franchise would really care if they were still trying to make some money off of the Bears in some way. Like they would still, in order to sell anything Bears related, they would still have to pay licensing fees and stuff like that. So honestly, the Bears would probably, you guys do what you got to do. I don't see it taking anything away from the Bears.
I don't mean taking nothing from the Bears. I feel like the Bears think if they threaten, like, we'll leave Soldier Field, then that's revenue for the Park District or whoever get paid for the Bears paying the rent and all this other kind of stuff that comes, the parking, whatever, that they get that little money off of that. They like, okay, well then, to make some of that little money back, we could just, because we could subsidize that in small ways and other ways too. I'm not talking about the Bears being hurt by it. I'm talking about the Park Districts or whoever making money off the Bears can still make money off the Bears even if they left. And that's
I agree. I think you can do take measures to minimize the damage of Chicago Bears leaving
That's all I'm
Soldier
saying.
Field. There's a lot of restaurants and bars around that area. They will lose a lot of game day traffic if the Bears leave Soldier Field. So I don't know how they will make up for that game day traffic that they won't have because of tailgating and everything else surrounding Soldier Field. So I mean, I don't know. We got a comment though. Let me see.
Bear Truth 9 coming in the end.
Coming in the end, we about to wrap this up. We about to get up out of here. We actually went a little longer than we expected to, but hey, this is good for us. I think we did a real good job today in time management.
Yeah, we hit our average. We're good.
Yeah, had our average of 3 hours. Appreciate you jumping in, Bear Truth. You were a little late, but we talked about some good stuff today. It wasn't as heated as our previous episodes, but we got a lot covered. So we will be back 3 the hard way. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Everybody who stuck with us throughout the episode. We'll be back next Saturday about 4 or 5 p.m. Central Time. And he said I didn't see the notification. Hit that notification button, man. Turn it on, man. It was a lot of good stuff. Like I said, it was a lot of good stuff in today's episode, Bear Truth. And we will be back 3 the hard way. We will be back. My guy Devin, my guy Chef West. We all be back next Saturday. Yeah, it's the dog days of the NFL, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna talk about. But I'm sure
the chef got you.
Yeah, I say I'm
some
sure
recipes.
I'm sure you're gonna cook up something and have something for the audience. Y'all got any farewells?
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Devin?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope y'all get some socks that fit y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We about to go enjoy our Saturday night. Much love from the Black Bear Podcast. Y'all have a good rest of y'all weekend. We gone. Peace out.